Oh, red buds are in bloom. What a beautiful shade of purple. Makes you think of back in 2016 when CBC played Hazelwood Central in the quarterfinal game. Let's take a look back at that awesome game.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Cadet Student Network's broadcast of state quarterfinal football. We are proud to bring you this game here on CSN. We've got the Tim Kylo broadcast booth on the road this week. We are at Hazelwood Central getting ready to watch the home Hawks take on your CBC Cadets. My name is Tom Eichwald, and I will be bringing you the game alongside me, Mr. Randy Molman. Randy, nice to actually be in the booth together instead of just talking about each other.
We've done this before, mostly for basketball. But we've done this before, and it's good to be with you here today. Beautiful day.
It is
65 degrees, a little cloudy, but, man, what a great day for football.
Good weather, good football, high stakes. Basically, if you don't like today, you're not a high school sports fan. This is a lot of fun. The boys are fired up. They've been fired up all week. We're fired up, ready to bring you this. Our cameramen are fired up. They're chomping at the bit to get going on this one. And, Randy, as we get set to head into this matchup, what can we expect today?
Hazelwood Central comes in 11-0, 5-0 in conference. And what we can glean from that really, Tom, is they've got some common opponents. Hazelwood Central played DeSmet, beat them 26-14 earlier in the year, beat SLU last week on a trick play late in the fourth quarter to win 18-17. And if you look at those common opponents, CBC handled DeSmet easily twice and beat St. Louis U High 48-21. But the story today is Hazelwood Central's defense versus CBC's offense. The Hawks are averaging 8.6 points allowed per game, while CBC scores 42 points a game. So that Hazelwood Central defense is tough. We'll see how the CBC offense handles it.
Now, of course, turning a broadcaster into a coach here, Randy, if you're down there getting the cadets ready for this one, what do you say to a team as they get set to go against a defense like this, one of the most high-rated defenses in the area?
I think what you say is what is probably been said all along is don't concern yourself with our opponent. We know what they do. We know what they do well. But let's do what we do, and let's do what we do well. And for CBC, that's run the ball. Justin Williams over 1,000 yards this year. Not sure we're going to see him today after the injury last week. But you've got Caleb Allen averaging 5.9 a carry. He scored 14 touchdowns. And if Williams isn't playing, Antoine Higgins will step in. Last week he stepped in, and for the season, he has averaged 6.2 yards per carry. Brett Gabbert, protect Brett Gabbert, get him the ball in space. The question is Cam Babb back today? We'll see.
We will see. We will see. And as the captains are out there for the coin toss, we've already done the national anthem. They did that before the teams took the field. So the clock, the pregame clock has stopped winding, and as soon as this coin toss is finished, we will be getting set for the kickoff. Again, you're watching the Cadet Student Network. Of course, we're fired up for this game, this football game, but the day doesn't end here. As soon as this game ends, CBC and the Cadet Student Network will be piling in a van, heading back to CBC for state quarterfinal soccer. So we've got football for you today, Hazelwood Central versus CBC, and then CBC taking on arch rival St. Louis University High School in the state quarterfinal soccer game tonight at CBC. That series sits at CBC 2, SLU 1 for the year, so should be a wonderful game. We hope you'll stick with us all day. Make a day of us here on the Cadet Student Network. Before we get going, we do want to take a moment, thank some of our sponsors. We want to thank Tim Kylo. If you are looking for insurance, you will definitely want to look at Tim Kylo. That's what Pat Walsh, our communications director, did. Saved $1,100 last year by switching to Tim Kylo. He'd love to save you money as well. Also, our kickoff today will be TJ's Pizza. TJ's Pizza and fundraising. And we look forward to some TJ's Pizza tonight at the at the concession stand at CBC. And now we can stop making up our ads because communications director Pat Walsh just ran us the scripts for them.
The scripts have been delivered.
We can now get these right. So as you see, the cadets will be in the white. They will be going right to left, and Hazelwood Central in the gray going left to right. It does look like Cam Babb out there for the coin toss.
Cameron Babb is dressed. Will he play, and will he play both sides of the ball? Let's remember, he already has 3 interceptions this year. And he's missed 4 or 5 games already with that broken bone in his ankle, but he is hopping around, and he looks healthy. Cameron Brown, the other wide receiver with a big year. what you should be looking for Hazelwood Central. Their lead tailback, Raphael Bell, 150 carries this year, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 8.4 yards per rush. So Raphael Bell, their tailback. Hazelwood Central is going to start on defense, and why not? They have the best defense of the two in terms of statistics here this afternoon. We'll see how they can handle this high-powered CBC offense.
And back to return for CBC is Brandon Douglas and Trey Haynes. They are all set to get this one underway, and as are we as the referee gets ready to set the ball down. You are watching the Cadet Student Network. Tom Eichwald, Randy Molman bringing you playoff football. Again, our kickoff sponsor tonight, TJ Tonight. Afternoon game. Not used to these.
That's all right.
Our kickoff sponsor, TJ's Pizza and Fundraising. They're now available by the slice at our concession stand, and we can't wait for you to give it a try. Also for me to give it a try tonight at the soccer game. TJ's is the best fundraising option around, offering a simple process that helps your school, team, or organization raise money by selling delicious pizza and desserts. Check them out online at tjspizza.com, and thank you to our cadet kickoff sponsor, TJ's Pizza and Fundraising.
Trey Haynes, watch out for him if he gets the return.
It is going to be Douglas, and Douglas is going to go to his right. First line of blockers meet, and Douglas is going to make it out to about the 15-yard line. Good tackle there by the special teams unit at Hazelwood Central.
So for CBC, another thing to watch, Tom, is they're used to playing on the fast surface at home, the turf. And today they're on natural grass. And by the way, this field is not level. It bows to each sideline. The middle of the field is a little bit higher than the sidelines. And we'll see how CBC can slog along on this natural turf here this afternoon.
And we are underway here in the first quarter. The Cadets in the white.
I see Justin Williams is not in the backfield. It's Antoine Higgins, so Williams probably not playing here this afternoon.
Justin Williams will not be playing, is the word we've heard.
With that knee injury last week, boy, that was tough.
It was. Two wide receivers near side, one far side. The snap, handoff to Caleb Allen. He's around outside the tackle on the left. And there you see the speed of this Hazelwood Central defense. Looks like the first tackler there was Reggie Certain, followed by number 15, Dallas Cradaith. Doing a nice job getting around the corner.
Cradaith did a great job as he followed the lead tackler and went high as the lead tackler went low, and Cradaith finished it off playing that strong safety linebacker hybrid.
Another handoff to Allen. Looked like he tripped coming through the line of scrimmage, and that will be a pickup of only a couple. And so this will be a very quick third down.
I have to say, I do love the black and white or black and yellow striped socks Hazelwood Central is.
Don't you love them?
I love those. The bumblebee.
And here's the snap. Gabbert takes it, looking to throw. Back, good protection from his line. He's got a spare blocker. He's going to go with him. Gabbert around the right side, and is he able to pick up the first down? He is. Goes out of bounds after picking up the first. So CBC gets out of a little bit of an early jam, thanks to, I don't think, a planned run from Tyler Gabbert.
Brett Gabbert with a great job. When he rolled out, he saw that that some of those offensive linemen had sealed off the edge, and he had room to escape to the outside and pick up the first down. Smart move by Brett Gabbert.
And so Brett Gabbert takes the snap out of the shotgun. Hands off inside to Allen. Allen stonewalled right at the line of scrimmage. Good balance of power and speed from this Hazelwood Central defense early.
That's what their strength is. They lead. They have only allowed an average of 8.6 points per game this year. That's the matchup today, this CBC offense against this Hazelwood Central defense.
2nd and 9. Gabbert out of the shotgun, looking to throw. Has to pull it down underneath. We got a flag. That one is scraped off the turf by the wide receiver. Looked like Tyler Walton. But there's a flag.
So far, Gabbert getting good pass protection. It's the run blocking that hasn't been so great to start.
And as the referee confers over there, we get a holding going against Hazelwood Central. So this will be a fresh set of downs for the Cadets.
Some more stats here from Hazelwood Central. They have 20 sacks on the season. They've forced and recovered 14 fumbles and picked off opposing quarterbacks 10 times. So this defense not only is stout, but they will get turnovers as well. CBC has to do a good job protecting the ball today.
And so the Cadets will have 1st and 10 at the 3-yard line. 10.5 to go here in the first quarter. We just started. CBC in the white working their way toward the left of your screen. That's where they're trying to go. Caleb Allen around the right side. He's going to pick up about 4 before he's brought down. Good tackle over there. Can't quite see the number on that. Is that Javon Kirk, the tackler? That was number 23.
He fought off that block from tight end Gormley, and he went over to the outside to shoestring tackle Allen. Nice play by Kirk.
And Gabbard in the shotgun. He's got Caleb Allen to his right. 2 wide receivers near, 1 far. Handoff is to Allen. Allen inside the tackle this time, and he's stonewalled there. And looked like the player stopping him was trying to get a number. Wonderful tackle, 55. That was Norman DeVerse.
They've got some young players too on this defense, which surprises me. For them being so stout, you would figure they would be a lot of seniors, upperclassmen, but we've got a junior there, Norman DeVerse, and I know earlier a great stop by Kirk, who is also a junior. They've got a lot of these defenders coming back next year.
Gabbard with the snap, throws to the near side. Cam Brown, the intended receiver. That one's too wide, and it is incomplete. And this will bring on the punt unit for the Cadets. So Hazelwood Central survives the first CBC possession, and they will look to take over. Back to receive for Hazelwood Central, number 3, Reggie Certain. And it looks like
that looks like Craddock.
15,
yes,
Craddock?
Number 15. He's dangerous. You know, this year Craddock is averaging 36 yards a catch on offense. 36. Craddock has 12 catches for 438 yards. That is ridiculous.
Simpson, rugby-style punt rolling to his right. That one is going to bounce out of bounds. Let's see where they spot this. It'll be inside the 20, and it will be at the 18-yard line. So the Hazelwood Central takes over at the 18-yard line. While we have a second, we want to ask you, Cadet fans, are you protected? Call State Farm agent and CBC alum Tim Kylo for all your insurance needs. Tim is more than just the best insurance guy in town. He's also the presenting sponsor of CSN, and we are incredibly grateful for his support. Call Tim at 314-842-4442 or send him an email at tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com.
The quarterback for Hazelwood Central is Antonio Triplett Jr. He's completed 49% of his passes this year, 17 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And as I said, watch out for running back Raphael Bell, 1,281 yards rushing this year.
And Bell is to the right of his quarterback. And Triplett takes the snap. Underneath. Caught made by number 8, Paul Sullivan Jr. And he is out of bounds, gain of about 6. So it'll bring up 2nd and 4 for Hazelwood Central. We talk a lot about their defense, but Hazelwood Central's offense, not too shabby either, averaging how many points a game?
41 points per game, yes. Sullivan's their leading receiver. That's his 30th catch of the season.
And now here is the snap. Almost, there it is. Triplett, handoff to Bell around the right side. Bell fighting off Benji Gormley. What a tackle by Benji Gormley. The hand fighting from Bell trying to keep him off, but Gormley was not going to be put off by that. Wonderful work by Benji.
Luke Carey helped finish it off, but Benji Gormley pushed off his block, stayed.
That is why he is a problem.
Quick hitter up the middle for Raphael Bell. No second-level support from that CBC defense as they were playing to the outside. He had room up the middle. Once he got to that second level, no one was there.
And he got past the first level. Gavon Burks looked like he kind of took a little bit of an incorrect angle into him, and Bell did not have a problem getting into the secondary there.
All your replays this afternoon, Randy Gardner running those from the board. So once you watch those replays, Raphael Bell, wow, what a run. And he's a guy said at the top you got to keep an eye on. He's their best tailback, 1,281 yards this year.
Bell to Triplett's left. Handoff, no, fake handoff. That is Triplett trying to go around the left side, and he is brought down by a host of Cadets. Somehow fights his way for another 2-3 yards. Some impressive persistence there.
We talked about Hazelwood Central's being able to turn the ball over. CBC the same. 27 sacks this year, 7 fumble recoveries, 17 interceptions by that CBC defense this year.
And the clock winds down below 8 minutes. Triplett has Bell to his left. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Triplett out of the shotgun. Good pass protection. Over the middle. That pass is caught but then dropped. Brandon Douglas did a wonderful job of getting a hand in there. That was Sullivan again. And that was almost a touchdown.
The senior had it in his hands. He had beat Gavon Burks down the seam, but Brandon Douglas, with help from his left corner spot, swatted it away.
And so here we are, the shotgun again, triplet in the shotgun. He's got Bell to his left, one wide receiver left, two right, same formation. Signs coming in from the Hawk bench.
The thing I'm noticing right out off the bat is CBC a little step slower on this natural surface.
And there's the throw over the middle. Looked like Sullivan with the catch. Wonderful catch by Paul Sullivan, and he is brought down by Von Burks. 7.5 to go, fresh set of downs for the Hawks. Moving the ball very well on this first possession. They're going to mark that one at the, about the 11 of the Cadets. And there's the run over the middle. And again, Bell.
Big carry there, almost 10 yards.
He can go around the outside. He can pound it right through the middle as well. And the Cadets really kind of up against the ropes here on this first possession.
What I'm seeing here from Hazelwood Central is way more success running up the middle than trying to spread CBC out.
And here's Bell. Ooh, takes a big shot there.
Except for that play.
Wonderful hit delivered there by Luke Carey.
Last week, the CBC defense did such a great job with their linebackers, protecting the middle of the field. Luke Carey, Brandon Zamuda, filling up the second level of support up the middle, blitzing up the middle, run blitzing up the middle, and that happened right there. Luke Carey with a stunt, came up the middle, and drilled Bell down. Timeout.
Under 7 to go, we got a timeout called. And one of the things we talked about before the game, Randy, is the home field advantage. This is a matchup we have seen over and over again over the years, and where you play this game really matters, doesn't it?
The last 3 times they've played here in this title game, the home team has won. 2013, Hazelwood Central eked out a victory, 26-24 in the rain. And then the last 2 years, CBC has really handled Hazelwood Central fairly easily at home in the district title game. But I think the key here, it's not just the environment here at Hazelwood Central, it's the surface, man. I'm telling you, that surface is different than CBC's played on most of the season. If you look at the MCC, it's all artificial turf. And so CBC has played mostly on artificial turf this year.
Bell around to the right. Gets a couple. He's got a fresh set of downs. During the timeout, you saw the measurement. First down given, so that was a first and goal from the 6-yard line they marked it at. And Zamuda makes the tackle.
Zamuda finished it off, knocked Bell real hard up around the shoulders.
For Hazelwood Central, one thing I will look to see, yes, Bell, and there's the quarterback sneak, and are they in? Some of the Hawks are signaling it, not surprisingly. No signal yet. No official signal yet. And the clock's still running here. That is a touchdown. So Hazelwood Central starts off the game 1 for 1 on touchdowns for possessions. So just like that, the Cadets will trail in this game. To finish the point right before that, Bell, a lot of carries, a lot of hard hits. That's great. It's a 4-quarter game. And I look to see, do they have the depth to be able to give him the kinds of rests he needs to sustain this for 4 quarters. If they can sustain this for 4 quarters, CBC could be in trouble here.
You look at Antonio Triplett. He's carried 99 times this year from that quarterback spot. So that's how they give him rest, by giving Triplett the ball and letting him run it. That's Triplett's 14th touchdown rushing this season from the quarterback position.
So Triplett with the touchdown, and the extra point is good. So just like that, the Cadets trail 7-0.
You got to give it up for that offensive line. Norman DeVerse, the center. Right guard, Ed Beckton, also in there for Hazelwood Central. And they really plowed some openings, especially on the long run by Raphael Bell to set up that touchdown. So watch that again all day. I doubt they'll continue to go outside on the CBC defense. I think they'll keep pounding Bell up the middle. What will CBC do at that point?
CBC's going to get another go at it. Again, their first possession resulted in maybe 25 yards or so of, they're showing a replay right now. There you see. We can't see the replays up here. So you heard the text earlier of Randy Molman telling you that Randy Gardner's running the replays down there. The subtext, we can't see them. We know you can. We hope you're enjoying it. You're seeing the quarterback sneak down there. But we are all set to watch the kickoff.
To give you some, well, here we go.
And there's the kick. This is going to be fielded by Haynes. He switched sides with Douglas. You get the feeling he's the preferred receiver of this. And he's going to get out to about the 15-yard line. Takes a couple of hard hits there.
Trey Haynes averaging 26 yards a kickoff return this year. Admittedly, you got a lot of kickers who kick it out of the end zone these days, so he hasn't had a ton of returns, but man, he's an electric returner, and they switched him. You're right, this time, so Haynes would line up on the left hash, and they kicked it to him. Good return by Haynes, 24-yard line. Let's see what CBC can do here now.
And Gabbert will be in the shotgun. He's got Caleb Allen to his right.
Josh Wallace is in the game. Cameron Babb is not.
Wallace and Walton to the left. Walton in motion. Cam Brown already over there on that far side. Handoff underneath is to Caleb Allen. Caleb Allen around the left side. And he is closed down. Wonderful closing rate there from Craddoth.
Dallas Craddoth showing his speed on defense. He plays a hybrid, strong safety as well as outside linebacker. And he is a fantastic defender. Craddoth this year, that's his 72nd tackle. And he is fast. Watch out for him on defense.
That had the look of one of those runs that most weeks this year would have been a long gain, if not a touchdown. And here is Gabbert. Gabbert steps up, fires, finds Cam Brown. Cam Brown gets out to about the 49-yard line. Then we're going to spot him out. So the first substantial completion for Brett Gabbert tonight.
Give that CBC offensive line credit. They're doing a great job in pass protection so far.
And good awareness by Brett Gabbert to step up into the protection. Here's Caleb Allen underneath. He's going to pick up about 4. And that will bring up a second down for the Cadets.
Not much success in the running game, but you have to stick with it because you do not want Hazelwood Central to sit back and plan for pass plays the entire first half.
And again, Cam Babb not in the game at the moment. Here is Gabbert. He's got Allen to his left. Fires far side for Benji Gormley. Gormley picks up the first down, lowers the shoulder. He's not going out of bounds. He's too fired up. It's the playoffs. And that takes us to about 5 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
All season long, we've talked about the athleticism of Cameron Babb, Cameron Brown, Brett Gabbert. You talk about the running game with Caleb Allen and Justin Williams. What gets lost is Benji Gormley. He is the glue on both sides of the ball. He plays hard. He plays rough. He loves the contact, as you saw right there.
Gabbert split backs alongside of him, one wide receiver either side. And the fake handoff. Gabbert looking long, going deep for Cam Brown. Cam Brown can't bring it in. Just too long for him. Maybe one more size of gloves and he might have that one. But very nearly a long strike from Gabbert to Cam Brown.
If only he were an inch taller.
Yes.
That's a touchdown. But Brett, again, look at this offensive line in pass protection. They're doing a fantastic job giving Gabbert time to find receivers. That's going to be there again.
And Gabbert underneath for Allen. And Allen picks up about 3. And to finish the point about the pass protection, we talk about the athletes on this Hazelwood Central defense. You talk about guys like Craddoth at the safety position, some very able cornerbacks as well. No amount of athleticism can stay with a wide receiver every down when a quarterback's getting several seconds of protection. Anybody can cover you for 2 seconds. Who can cover you for 4? And that's going to be a difference maker for CBC potentially. Here's Gabbert, takes a snap, steps up into the protection, and he's rolling around to this left-hand side, fires underneath. Walton can't grab it, and it's intercepted. This one is returned, and he trips. He trips. That's a lucky trip for CBC. James Whitfield Jr., great concentration to pick it up off the tip from Tyler Walton. And that is a big, big opportunity for CBC gone wanting.
As you see on the replay here, I don't know if that was a great decision by Brett Gabbert to throw. He was off balance. He had tripped coming out of the pocket, and he threw sort of off balance. The ball was not catchable for Ty Walton. He did his best to tip that ball, but it ends up landing in Whitfield's hands. And I bet you if Brett Gabbert had to do that again, he'd just throw it out of bounds or tuck it and run.
I think so. We talked about, well, we'll finish that point in a second. Triplett's going to take the snap. Fakes the handoff to Bell, takes the option inside, and he is going to pick up a first down. But to finish the point, we talked about coming into this game, CBC, it's very much about everybody just do your job. We know you're fired up. It's the playoffs. Everybody do your job. Don't worry about your opponent. But Hazelwood Central's doing a very good job of disrupting that, scoring early, getting the interception, trying to say, okay, you can do your job. We're going to do ours better. It's a mental game at this point early in a game. CBC really needs to settle into their patterns, settle into everything that they're so used to doing as we see the first down given here. And for CBC, it's going to be about the sooner they can settle down, the better off they're going to be. If it takes them a while longer to settle down, this Hazelwood Central team can do some damage to you.
Hazelwood Central has been successful running up the middle so far in this first half. Keep an eye on that for the Cadets.
And there's the throw over to the far
Oh.
side. Receiver wasn't expecting it, and Triplett's throw almost picked off by Brandon Douglas. I think he was looking at the end zone instead of the ball.
If Brandon Douglas catches that, he's gone for 6.
Jordan Duvall, the intended receiver over there, not sure why the ball was coming his way when he wasn't looking. I think he thought he was blocking, is what it looked like.
Look out for the big play, Dallas Craddock. He's lined up alone against Cameron Brown at the top of your screen.
And we get an offsides here. Sean McCann moved. And that is going to back CBC up.
Last week, Coach Dimovitz did a great job making adjustments at halftime against Marquette. It was a tight game at halftime. The adjustments he made on defense to blitz up the middle, plug that middle, was basically the reason CBC dominated the second half last week. We'll see if they do that again here.
Triplett, toss to Bell. Bell beats a couple of tacklers and picks up the first down. So the Hawks continue to move the ball, if not easily, certainly very efficiently, against this Cadet defense. 3:47 to go here in the first quarter. The Hawks up 7-0 over CBC in the state quarterfinal game. It is win or go home at this point. Triplett over the right-hand side. And that is caught by Sullivan, Jr., and he's out of bounds, the gain of a couple.
Give credit again to the Hazelwood Central on that long run. Right tackle, Ed Beckton got out ahead of it, made a great block to spring Bell. But Raphael Bell is a big back. He reminds me a lot of Justin Williams. He's very big, hard to tackle.
And the read option on the inside nearly disastrous there.
Yes, nearly fumbled. Triplett wanted to hand that off, and then he pulled it in last second.
And as he pulled it in, he was brought down by Brandon Zamuda.
Big third down here for the Cadets. I don't think Hazelwood Central has a kicker that can make a field goal at this distance, which means we're probably looking at 2 plays here.
And this is into the wind for those of you kickers out there wondering about that. And Triplett fires right, and that is incomplete, so that is going to bring up a 4th and 4 from the 21. And are we going to see the field goal unit come on? It looks like we are. At 3:09 to go here in this first quarter. There is a little bit of wind into the face of the kicker at this point. Also could have been a factor on that long pass from Gabbert. Might have sailed just a little bit on the wind and overshot Cam Brown at the other end.
So Jeremy Crawford, the senior, will line up to kick this. This is a 40-yard field goal, and it is, I mean, there are not many high school kickers in the area that can kick a 40-yarder. We'll see.
And there's the snap. Good hold. Ball's up. It is not going to get there, I don't think. It may have had the distance, but it was wide. So the Cadets hold the Hawks scoreless. And they will get the ball back with 3:04 here to go in the first quarter. While we have a second, our crew works incredibly hard to bring you coverage here on CSN. We want to thank you. We want to say thank you to Chick-fil-A for making the chicken sandwiches that give our students the energy they need to make these broadcasts happen. Any of them will tell you Chick-fil-A is the favorite meal before, after a game. Probably going to stop there on the way before the soccer game. And it should be your pregame meal, too. Grab a sandwich. They got a lot of locations. Our favorite's the one at Manchester and Ballas Road. So you'll want to check them out and tell them the Cadet Student Network sent you. Thank you to Chick-fil-A's.
Chick-fil-A's the real deal, man.
It is.
I love that place so much.
It is. Gabbert takes the snap. It's way too early in the game to be talking about food, Randy.
You see Brett Gabbert slipping on that natural grass. I think that's a bigger factor than people give it credit to. Right now, the Cadets are averaging maybe 3 yards a carry in their run game, and a lot of that has to do with the Hazelwood Central defense, but it also has to do with this surface. You're going to see a lot of slipping from this Cadet offense here today.
And one of the reasons that the Cadet running game has been so successful all season is because you have 2 backs that can hit you for big yards. You've got Justin Williams and you have Caleb Allen, both very different runners. You have to assign a defender to cover each one, and you can't necessarily cover both of them adequately. And no disrespect to Antoine Higgins intended. However, Caleb Allen is on a different level at this point, if for no other reason than he's getting the yards and the carries. But it's a lot easier to pick up a runner, I'd imagine, when there's only one real run threat on the field as opposed to when there's 2, which is the normal situation. Snap for Gabbert. A little bit low, but he gathers. Fires to the right-hand side, and that one is, again, just a little bit long for Cam Brown.
Once again, the offensive line does a great job protecting Gabbert on that throw. To your point on Caleb Allen, Justin Williams rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. That's a huge loss. And again, no disrespect to Antoine Higgins. When he's filled in, he's averaged 6.2 per carry, and he'll get some carries today. But Justin Williams is a powerful, strong back that wears down defenses rushed for 1,080 yards before he went down last week with the knee injury.
And now Gabbert in the shotgun. He's got Allen to his left. 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. Steps up into the pocket, fires over the middle. Tyler Walton brings it down and goes down. That will be a first down for the Cadets. The chains are moving with 2.5 to go here in the first quarter. Again, the Cadets trailing, not something they're used to this season.
I think that play, though, those down the middle throws where Brett Gabbert is being well protected, keep an eye on that because they've been successful so far.
Gabbert, again with time. Over to the far side, and that one is brought down inbounds. They're going to say yes.
Good grief.
And who is it over there? Benji Gormley.
Benji Gormley.
What can he not do?
That guy is look, again, we've talked about all the great players on this team, and I would say Benji Gormley might be the MVP of all of them. The way he plays defense, the way he makes difficult catches, he blocks in the running game. Man, he is such an asset on the CBC offense.
Oh, and he's the long snapper.
And he's the long snapper.
Not a bad resume. And Gabbert's going to take the snap. Allen to his left this time. 2 wide receivers stacked on the near side. And that one is right through the hands of Cam Brown. At this point in the playoffs, you can't be missing those. Public address said Babb, but I believe my eyes are telling me that's Cam Brown over there.
Yes.
It is.
Babb is dressed, and I wonder if they dressed him out to kind of make Hazelwood Central prepare for him, sort of the mental game there, because we haven't seen him on the field yet.
And now Gabbert. He's got Allen to his left. Safe option. Instead, he fires. That is a good read on the ball there. He's already got 1 interception, 1 and a second one, James Whitfield.
If you see the replay on this, watch Whitfield. He sat and waited, and then when he saw Gabbert unloaded, he attacked the ball and came up and broke it up. If he had jumped just a second earlier, he would be on his way for a touchdown right now.
And Gabbert took a good long look at Josh Wallace. I think he was heavily considering the short throw to Caleb Allen, gave Wallace a long look, which is all Whitfield needed to break on it. Now Gabbert, we got a stoppage here. Don't see any flags down. We get a timeout. Yes, we do. Timeout called to Hazelwood Central. While they take a timeout, so will we, so we can say thanks to one of our newest sponsors on the Cadet Student Network. That is Mercy Sports Medicine. Mercy is ranked as a top-tier Catholic health system nationally and offers the highest quality health care for students and their families. We know this firsthand here at CBC. Our very own athletic trainer, Kristen Jeans, and the team at Mercy take great care of our cadet student athletes. To learn more, visit www.mercy.net.
So far, this Hazelwood Central team has lived up to the billing. Great defense. CBC has not been able to get deep in the Hazelwood Central territory. And in turn, Hazelwood Central has just been pounding the ball with Raphael Bell. 7-0 game, and look for CBC to make some adjustments as the game goes on. That's what their coaching staff does. They do such a great job with that.
We are going to get set to go again. 2:14 to go here in the quarter. If you're just joining us, it's been back and forth. Hazelwood Central has had the better of it so far. They're leading on the scoreboard, leading in total yards, leading in defense right now. And CBC looking to make an impact on this game. Just had a big hold to keep Hazelwood Central from scoring down at the other end. Resulted in a missed field goal, so now CBC looking to build off that and get a little momentum in this one because they're lacking it at the moment. Gabbert over the middle, too tall for Cam Brown. Big hit coming for Brown if he had caught that. And it will be a 4th and 10, so Austin Simpson comes back on to punt.
The second punt today here in the first half for CBC. They also had an interception by Hazelwood Central, which led to no points. The defense held. And so now if they could just pin Hazelwood Central deep and get active on defense, see if they can get some good field position here.
And Austin Simpson back to punt. Craddock at the other end. And Craddock, as we mentioned, a major threat on these returns. All-around football player, stellar player defensively, can catch it and run with it.
Has already made an impact on defense. 2 big hits.
And now Simpson again rolling to his right, rugby style. And that is going to be down the sideline. And almost the exact same thing as earlier. A little deja vu, except this time it's out at the 14 instead of the 18. You can tell they're not wanting to kick to Craddock.
Yes, absolutely. And a great kick, 13-yard line. That's where Hazelwood Central starts. If CBC can get a 3-and-out right here, they're going to start to assume a little bit more control in the field position game. because I feel like that's what you're going to need in this game. You're going to have short fields, chances to score, and if you keep getting pinned down back in your own territory, it makes it that much more difficult. This is a big series. If CBC can get a 3-and-out here, they'll have great field position.
And handoff to Bell. Bell around to his left-hand side. Great juke move as he goes around the corner, and Brandon Douglas is able to bring him down. Craddock looked like he gave Douglas a shove there, but as it is, Douglas is able to make the tackle, and it will be Hazelwood Central ball at the 35-yard line.
That's the second 20-plus yard carry by Raphael Bell. As you see this replay, what a move right at the line of scrimmage. Bell again.
Bell again underneath, this time brought down, looked like by number 97. That is Percy Brown. So under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, 1:39 on the clock. And signals coming in from the sideline. Triplett takes a look. No change of formation except for that wide receiver over there on that far side moves in a little bit, might be Sullivan. And Triplett takes a good shot. Bell, the ball is fumbled, and CBC recovers. CBC recovers it. So we talked about the need to get some momentum. Triplett took a big shot, had to rush the toss a little bit, and then you saw Bell get closed down very, very quickly, couldn't bring it in, and that is not a forward pass. That is a fumble. CBC pounces.
Here's the replay. Darren Bennett will pounce on it right there at the end. And this is what we talked about. CBC needed good field position. They need to start a drive that is in Hazelwood Central territory. They're doing it now at the 35-yard line. Big turnover.
And that could be a momentum boost. We talked about CBC needing something. Is that the something we needed? Now Brett Gabbert takes the snap. Fakes the handoff to Higgins. Gabbert chased down from the far side. Delay blitz is successful, and that is Whitfield again.
Whitfield making his presence felt here in the first quarter. What an absolute big-time sack. And by the way, we talked about how Gabbert had a ton of time here so far. Hazelwood Central decides no more. We're bringing the blitz.
So 1 minute to go, actually a little bit less now. Little personnel change here. And on over here on the near side for
Damon
CBC.
Jones who checks in.
And now, not Gormley. That's one thing he doesn't do. Gabbert looking for Jones. And that falls. DJ couldn't bring that one in. 44 seconds as the clock stops for the incomplete pass.
Now 3rd and long for the Cadets. Big, big play here.
You got a great opportunity to get some momentum. You cannot let this go by. Gabbert finds Brown, and Brown is going to get tackled. Forward momentum takes him, they say, the 20 or 30-yard line. I think some people in purple gold might say it was more like the 28.
First big decision here for Coach Pingle, 4th and 5, and he's going to go for it.
I think you have to. Again,
yes.
This is vital. You need something right here to settle into this game, get some momentum. Hate to overuse the word, but that's what it's about at this point.
Big catches down here, 5 yards or less. Look out for Benji Gormley lined up in the left slot.
A lot of noise from the defense here. I'm sure you're picking it up in the mics. And now Gabbert's going to take this. Steps back. Fires over to the near side. And that is a first down. Tyler Walton brings it in. That was the throw to the right-hand side to Tyler Walton. Good catch by Tyler Walton. Gets out of bounds. And that is a first down. So the chains move. And that will also, I believe, take us to the end of the first quarter. So as the teams take a break, we will too. We're going to go to a commercial. When we come back, we will have the second quarter here. You're watching the Cadet Student Network.
We are back live on the Cadet Student Network in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth on the road at Hazelwood Central as we get ready to start the second quarter. My name's Randy Molman. Tom Eichwald is alongside. And the CBC Cadets, if you're just tuning in, trail Hazelwood Central 7-0, but they're marching inside the 15 at the 14-yard line of Hazelwood Central for CBC. They just recovered a fumble moments ago, and the Cadets trying to cash in. Brett Gabbert in at quarterback, 3 wide receivers in the game. Caleb Allen is to Gabbert's left. Stretch play to Cameron Brown coming over the left side looking for room, slips as he tries to cut, and he loses a yard.
And
Hazelwood Central stayed at home there, Tom.
Yeah, he was brought down a little bit by the back of the pads, no horse collar. Some of the Hazelwood Central fans a little bit upset. They thought there was a hold over there on that far side. Even if there was, didn't result in much advantage. So as it is, we continue.
We've seen CBC slip and slide on this natural grass all afternoon so far. Antoine Higgins checks in the backfield now for CBC. Gabbert fires into the sideline to Ty Walton. Walton inches his way up. Finally dances out of bounds at the 20, or they're going to mark it at the 21. And that'll make it a 3rd down and about 7.
And good throw from Gabbert. Good catch and turn from Walton. It's the basics. You build a little bit of a game. You build yards just by getting the basics right. Simple throw, simple catch. Start doing that, then you can maybe go for some of those home run balls. Good to see CBC starting to do those little things right. That's a good sign for the Cadets.
4 wide receivers in the game. Gabbert now designed run. He pumped and kept it himself over the left side. He's got the first down. Wow, he snuck down the sideline, and he gets down to about the 10. We'll see where they mark it. 1st and goal, it looks like, for CBC.
An excellent play call. Again, starting to look at CBC doing those little things. You're looking for CBC to make that short throw, make the catch, keep going down the field, not try to do too much on any one play. And the man forgotten is Brett Gabbert.
Caleb Allen in the game, to Gabbert's right in the backfield. Higgins lines up in the slot. They get it to Allen after the low snap, looking for room, doesn't find much, and a penalty flag is thrown right towards the end of that play. And on a play like that, it's either a hold or some sort of personal foul usually. We'll see who they call it on.
And a little bit of a scrum over there, kind of hard to see from here. Probably had a better view of it in the cameras. Some outstanding camera work being done by our students here.
As always, personal foul, a face mask, called on Hazelwood Central. Very rarely, unless the flag is coming from the backside, will the referee on the defensive side of the ball throw a flag for holding. But
he chucked that thing a good 25 yards, too.
Did. And usually if it's on the defensive side where that flag comes from, it's usually a defensive penalty. So 1st down and goal for CBC, just inside the 5 at the 3. Gabbert takes a snap, hands it to Allen, powers up the middle, but a good stop. The ball popped free. The ball popped free, it appears. Who came up with it? Looks like CBC held on to it. Gabbert at the end of that play dove in to the scrum. Let's see who gets it.
You can see the panic from Gabbert. He didn't like the look of that.
Hazelwood Central saying they came up with it. Let's see what the referees say. On those scrums, it's hard to tell unless a referee saw a player pounce on it before the pileup.
And the Hazelwood players still saying it's their ball, but the referees are continuing as though it were CBC's. So we assume that they're going to give the ball back to CBC here. And again, based on reaction, CBC may have gotten away with one there. Of course, there's no video replay. You've got replays at home, but these referees don't.
Yeah, if you see the replay, it's probably going to be hard to tell anyway from the angle. That ball was on the ground, and I don't know if it was on the ground after Allen was tackled or before, or if CBC recovered initially when they blew the whistle and then a Hazelwood Central player come up with it. Very, very hard to tell. 2nd and goal at the 3. 2 tailbacks in the game, Antoine Higgins to Gabbert's left.
I think the referee explaining to the coaching staff for Hazelwood Central what the call was. So the answer to all of our questions was just explained to somebody that's out of audible range.
And sadly, we can't hear it. Gabbert hands it to Allen, looking for room over the left side. He's cut down.
What a tackle.
How about that play?
Man, he just came flying in there. Was that Reggie Certain? Came from the backfield, defensive backfield, and just brought down Caleb Allen. I thought he was in. Certain came out of nowhere, and what a tackle that is. That's all you can say.
They mark it as a 2nd down and goal. I thought it was 3rd down, but they're saying even on the sideline over there, 2nd and goal. Gabbert takes a snap, looks to the left, fires to Walton. He catches it. Touchdown.
Well, that's one way to eliminate post-game discussion about what down it was.
Right there by the pylon, Ty Walton. Oh, the coverage was looser than it probably should have been. Walton catches it, turns around, steps across for the touchdown.
Coverage was a little loose, but you still got to give credit to Tyler Walton. He did not have a lot of space to bring that ball in. You got to be absolutely sure-handed to catch that ball, get the feet in as your momentum's carrying you out of bounds. So again, talk about the simple things, simple throws, simple catch. Tyler Walton doing a wonderful job over there, and he's starting to become a key player for the CBC offense here in the first half.
And you have to make the quick throw. If you're going to throw that 3 yards from the goal line, it's got to come out fast.
It does, and that is one thing that Gabbert is very, very good at. When he needs to pull the trigger in a hurry, he can.
Otto Etzel now to attempt the extra point. The snap is low. It gets put down, and Etzel kicks it through. That was close. Bad snap, but how about Dylan Charlton picking it off the grass and getting it set for Etzel? That was huge.
Not one for the highlight reel, but it's one of those that later in a game, if it's a 1-2 point game, being able to pick that ball off of the dirt, again, not turf, clumpy grass, the ball can bounce weird, and being able to get that set in time for Otto Etzel to put it through. That, hopefully for CBC's sake, that doesn't become a huge play, but it very well could be at this point.
We expected nothing less. It's a 7-7 game, 10:38 to play second quarter. The 11-0 Hazelwood Central Hawks hosting the 10-1 CBC Cadets. We're getting ready for that TJ's Pizza kickoff. And by the way, just so you understand the stakes, the winner of this game takes on Blue Springs, who absolutely demolished Francis Howell in their victory last night. Blue Springs 49-14 awaits the winner of this game. And I tweeted to that Blue Springs football team, if you want to catch today's opponent, watch on the Cadet Student Network. And hopefully they're watching here today and they're taking some notes.
Yeah, congratulations on your win.
That's right. You get one of these two teams next week. In the other side of the bracket, Kirkwood will take on Rockhurst. Of course, CBC saw Rockhurst earlier this year. And what a defense that Rockhurst Hawklet team has. They held CBC to 10 points. I don't remember the last time that's happened. Short kick.
And that one might have bounced out of bounds.
It was caught on the far side by Sullivan. And CBC likes to do that from time to time because it throws the return game off just enough to where if they try to come down with a quick catch and run, sometimes you cause a fumble there. So it'll be 1st and 10. Good field position, though. If you field it cleanly, you've got good field position, and Hazelwood Central does at the 31-yard line.
And what I'm looking for is what do you do about the run? Bell has shown an ability to go straight up the middle. Not quite as much success going outside the tackles. If it has been, it's been very close to the outside hip of the tackles. So I will look, how does CBC stop that middle run like this?
There it is. Bell up the middle, finding his way, picks up about 4.
And that's going to be key.
MJ Anderson.
Good tackle from MJ. But you've got to deny that middle. You've got to make him get outside, and then the speed of the defense can come into play. For CBC, you've got to make it a game about your strength. And your strength, if you're a CBC's defense, is your speed. Make it a speed game.
2nd down 5. They give him 5 on the play. Here he is again. Bell, this time he's stuffed. Good play by that interior defensive line and linebackers for CBC. Bennett at the bottom of that pile. So a big 3rd down here. Really, really would help CBC to get a 3 and out and get the ball back after scoring a touchdown on their last drive.
And CBC calls, no, there is a flag.
Ooh, penalty flag. Probably
too many men on the field, I didn't count.
Too many men on CBC or on Hazelwood Central? No, a false start. That's huge. That makes it 3rd and 8.
Boy, that was early,
Hazelwood
too. That
Central.
didn't even look close. I was about to comment on the matchup we have over here of Sullivan was lined up one-on-one with Benji Gormley.
I don't know if that's favorable, although,
we don't want to underestimate.
Don't ever underestimate Benji Gormley.
But I would watch that right now. Over here, it's on the near side, number 8, Paul Sullivan against number 87, Benji Gormley. Watch that matchup.
Typically, a slot receiver is a mismatch against the linebacker, but CBC's playing a zone defense. It goes deep, and it's overthrown. CBC changed it up and played zone. Gormley did not chase Sullivan. Douglas turned and ran with him, and the ball was overthrown. That's a different look from that CBC defense.
Figured they were up to something. I don't think Coach Butch Dimovitz would. I think he knows his matchups well enough.
4th and 8 now. Trey Haynes back deep. Lining up to punt for Hazelwood Central is Javon Kirk, who's also a tight end and a linebacker. He's made a couple of tackles here in this half. He stands at his 20-yard line. Trey Haynes is back just inside his 33, and if he gets a clean seam, look out for Trey Haynes.
Those gold shoes can fly.
High snap and almost blocked by Burks. Line drive punt. Haynes catches it at the 35, slips, and gets up to the 39. And once again, that turf monster jumps up to affect a CBC skill player. That turf is tough, man. They are slipping all over that thing here today.
They are, and when you're not used to pushing off of grass, there's so much more give. You're used to that nice sharp bounce from the artificial turf.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. I think it's an adjustment you can make in a half of football, though, so I wouldn't think that would be quite as big a factor in the second half. And for the Cadets, if you can expand and open up a lead as you start to adjust, it gets easier from there.
9:44 to play, second quarter. Here's Higgins over the left side. He cuts it upfield, and a good gain there. 8 yards on first down. Antoine Higgins' first carry.
And the misdirection worked. Gabbard faked the handoff and then the throw over here to the flat on the near side. And Higgins takes it around the back door for a gain of 7.
So they say 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Ball at the 47. Once again, here's Higgins up the middle, feeling his way, crosses midfield, has a first down.
Boy, that hurt to watch, but it worked.
2 good runs from Antoine Higgins, his first 2 of the afternoon, filling in for the 1,000-yard rusher, Justin Williams.
Boy, you talk about the advancements made in the game. You talk about all that goes into preparing. And what do key plays often turn into? Just one guy against a bunch of defenders. Who can go the hardest?
So it'll be first down and 10 at the Hazelwood Central 48. Cameron Brown in the game, lined up to Gabbard's right. The officials are fixing some equipment malfunction, I guess, on a Hazelwood Central helmet.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the top snap on the strap. You got the repair committee out there working on it. Gives us a chance to let you know the action doesn't stop with football today. We got soccer coming up, 6 o'clock, CBC SLU, state quarterfinal, CSN.
Keep it on this Cadet Student Network all day. Huge games being played. Gabbard has time. Now he has to shimmy out of trouble, gets across the line of scrimmage, and finally brought down at the 45. He initially had time, but credit Hazelwood Central's defense for putting that pressure on.
And again, good acceleration from Gabbard. You talk about the adjustment to the real grass. Early in the game, those sorts of accelerations when you were seeing CBC players slip. There's starting to be that subconscious adjustment made by the Cadets.
2nd and 7 on the 45. Caleb Allen now feeling his way across the 45, brought down at the 41. And that'll make it a 3rd down and short. Well, they're going to adjust that and say he was down just shy of the 42.
So about 3 to go. 4.
The scoreboard here at Hazelwood Central says 4. I'd say it's a long 3, but we're just talking about inches here. So here we go. Big 3rd down for the Cadet offense. Gabbard out of the shotgun, takes a snap, fires into the flat. It's caught by Josh Wallace. Wallace got some separation, made the catch, and it's a first down. Pitch and catch, Gabbard to Wallace.
And you're starting to see CBC get into a little bit of a rhythm. We saw with Tyler Walton in the last possession, Josh Wallace getting in. That rhythm is starting to build, and with that, CBC can start really making a lot more contributions to this game on the offensive side.
8:10 and counting to play, second quarter action. This is Higgins feeling his way, tries to bounce it outside, and he can't. Good defensive play by Hazelwood Central. That looks like it was Craddoth, but I can't tell for sure.
When in doubt, just assume Craddoth was involved. That's kind of the rule I've learned here in the first half of football.
So a loss of 2. They don't give him the forward progress. I am a little mystified by that. But 2nd and 12 at the 32. Gabbard out of the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to his right. Takes a snap, looks that way, pumps, now fires for the running back screen to Higgins. He's got room. Down the sideline. Inside the 20. Inside the 10. Touchdown! CBC! I don't see any penalty flags.
No, I was looking on the far side. I was wondering if we were going to see something. What a job Antoine Higgins does of coming off the block. Perfect timing. Gives Gabbard just enough time, 1 or 2 pops at his man, and then just flips off just at the perfect time. That's excellent timing. Good catch from Antoine Higgins. And again, you see the acceleration, what he's capable of. And really just a phenomenal effort there from Antoine Higgins. He was gone as soon as he went.
Absolutely. Great play call. The pump fake to the right side of the field that was stacked with receivers. Leaned Hazelwood Central's defensive backs in that direction, which allowed Gabbard. Oh, they're going to go for 2 here, and that did not work. Direct snap to number 28 for CBC, and that is Taylor Robinson, and they were looking to fool Hazelwood Central and get that 2-point conversion. Didn't work at all. Hazelwood Central was well prepared.
Taylor Robinson, really versatile athlete. A younger player, only a sophomore. But he plays at safety and also at quarterback for some of the lower-level teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's in there, for the fake. He can run it, but he can also throw it. So CBC has a lot of options on those if they want to use him.
Hazelwood Central wearing those sort of gray. I know at Mizzou they call that color anthracite. Not 100% sure. I don't remember an anthracite crayon in my crayon box when I was little. Do you?
It is a coal color.
Why can't we just say coal?
Somebody probably owns the word, I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume it's a copyright thing.
In my crayon box, I don't remember anthracite, but apparently it's a color, and they are sharp-looking. Hazelwood Central's uniforms today in that anthracite coal-type color, the black helmets, the yellow trim. CBC, of course, in their customary road uniforms, white jerseys, purple pants with the Vegas gold trim and Vegas gold helmet.
Our communications director, Pat Walsh, will be very pleased with you for mentioning the Vegas gold.
Yes.
Very proud of it. It's not yellow, it's not gold, it's Vegas gold.
That's right. He's very specific. Here's the kickoff from Otto Etzel. It's a short kick. Will be fielded at the 12-yard line. Up the right side, across the 25, across the 30, and a good return for Hazelwood Central. They'll set up shop outside the 30-yard line.
And that's the first opportunity Craddock has really had to make for a return. And I think CBC, again, the strategy's been to kick away from him. At some point, though, you're going to have to kick at him. And there you saw it there. Nice job by the special teams at denying him the big play.
Head coach Van Vanetta has been very successful here at Hazelwood Central. He's powerhouse program year in and year out for the Hawks. I remember back when I was in high school 25 years ago, Hazelwood Central was good. They've been good for a long, long time. CBC the same. Two of the best programs in the St. Louis area. Going head-to-head today, 13-7 Cadets, 7:25 to play second quarter. Triplet's got 4 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Empty backfield. He's going to fire into the flat, incomplete. He threw it right in the dirt, intended for Sullivan, and you can see the frustration on Sullivan's face.
And with those 4 wide receivers, Sullivan had some wonderful blocking if he could have caught that ball. All the defensive backs were taken by wide receivers, so Sullivan would have had quite a few lanes to choose from if he had brought that in.
Triplett, a very effective dual-threat quarterback, but his completion percentage this year just at 49%. You compare that to Brett Gabbard, who completes 68% of his passes. This is Bell, and you do not want to run outside on this defense, and that's why. Gavon Burks, Benji Gormley, you can't stretch out the CBC defense. You really can't.
And there's a relation between that point you just made as well as the completion percentage for Triplett. When you're playing against a lot of teams that can't match your speed and athleticism around the periphery, you can get away with maybe not completing as many passes, with just the short passes, the flips, and the tricks. You can't do that against a defense like CBC, so you're going to have to start completing these passes. So it's really going to put a lot of pressure on Triplett as this game develops, especially if CBC can run another touchdown or two in. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Triplett.
Another element, as I see the Hazelwood Central players on the sideline slamming their cleats. It's muddy. The field's a little muddy, and they're getting caught up in the cleats. Bell doesn't have much. It looked to be maybe a trick play. Bell was running over the right side. It looked like he may put that ball up a la last week against St. Louis U High, where he throws a 93-yard touchdown to Craddock on a fake, on an end-around trick gimmick play. It looked like he might throw that ball. Then he pulled it down, and CBC's defense was there.
Well, and he pulled it down because CBC's defense was there. There were a lot of guys over there. He did not have much time to throw, and rather than just heaving a ball up there against a speedy, talented defense, I think he chose the better part of valor there.
High snap. Here's the punt. And Haynes goes back inside his 30. He better fall on it. He does. Smart play. When you muff a punt like that, don't try to pick it up. Fall on it and make sure you maintain possession.
Something you see throughout the season from Trey Haynes. Very good kick returner, good punt returner, but he does have a tendency, to sometimes go for the ball. It's a difficult ball. He's very confident. The thought of possibly dropping or muffing a punt doesn't enter his mind, which is a good thing, but sometimes it can get him in trouble trying to catch a ball that it might be better to let go.
So CBC starts at the 20-yard line. You remember the old Rams' greatest show on turf days, Oz Hakeem was an electric punt returner. He'd return a half dozen kicks a year, but he would make mistakes trying to make something happen, fumbling and not trying to fall on it. And you've got to be able to make a smart play in the special teams game. That's Higgins. Number 6 came up, Jordan Pruitt, the free safety, to make a good tackle, the senior.
And it was a good tackle. CBC really, this not great field position, but you have 5 minutes and 37 seconds to go here. You do have a lead, so there is no rush here. This is where you get Caleb Allen involved.
2nd down and 9. Gabbert all day to throw. Fires over the middle, a little bit behind the receiver. He had Josh Wallace down the seam if he wanted to take a shot for a touchdown. Wallace had gotten behind the coverage, but it was tough for Gabbert to see him over all of the defenders, and he tried to hit Walton, but threw it a little bit behind him on that play.
There's some big guys in the Hazelwood Central defense, but there's also some massive guys on CBC's offensive line. Not shocking that occasionally Gabbert might have a hard time seeing something over the middle around those big guys.
3rd down and 9 now. Gabbert takes the shotgun snap, sets up in the backfield, fires over the middle, way high.
And Gabbert got absolutely crushed.
Gabbert gets hit. That looks like Dallas Craddoth in the backfield.
He had just released the ball.
No, that's number 11, Jordan Carey.
I was going to say, he's a lot bigger than Craddoth. He's an inside linebacker, and he got a lick on Brett Gabbert, who appears to be okay. It was a scary moment there, actually.
3rd punt of the day for Austin Simpson. Back deep is number 15, the aforementioned Dallas Craddoth. He stands at his 40.
And again, Austin Simpson, kind of a rugby-style punter. At least that's his preferred. We've seen him roll out and kick away from Craddoth so far to his right-hand side. So that would be toward the near side of your screen. That's what he's done the first couple goes he's had.
It's very effective. You don't have to boot it deep down the middle of the field. You can pin him on a sideline, but this time he's going to take the standard approach. Bounces just across midfield. It hits a CBC defender and will land at the 32.
And now you're going to have the question of where to spot this.
Right.
They spot it at the 22-yard line. Hazelwood Central's furious because it hit Trey Haynes' leg. It hit his thigh.
And there's no question it hit. So the referees are now talking about it. They're going to put it at the 45. Yeah.
Okay, it looked like they initially spotted it at the 22. Everybody was on their feet over here pointing backwards.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the correct call.
That CBC stands across the way is packed. CBC here in full force from the fan perspective. We've got standing room only around the fences. And the Hazelwood Central crowd, it was a late arriving crowd, but they got here and they filled up the stands. What an environment. 2 of the best programs in the St. Louis area going head-to-head. Winner wins the district. Loser heads home until next year. This is Bell up the middle. He found a seam. Boy, for a big back, he's very slippery.
And Brent Bledsoe with a nice tackle. Bledsoe a little bit slow getting up. He took a pretty good wallop bringing down Bell. And he's hobbling, but looks like he'll keep going.
Antonio Triplett is a senior. He hands it to the junior Bell and Darren Bennett and number 97, Percy Brown crash in the backfield to make a great tackle.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about at the start of the second quarter. What CBC really struggled with in the first quarter was that run up the middle. They seem to have made the necessary adjustments. They've shored up the middle, and they're forcing Hazelwood Central to either throw the ball or go outside and go speed for speed.
Raphael Bell lines up to the left of Triplett. 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen, Sullivan and Craddoth. Tight end lined up tight on the right side. Triplett's going to keep it himself, and he slips. He slips when he went to make his cut, and he gets a yard. It'll be 4th and maybe a long one, and a huge decision for Van Veneta here, because if they don't get it, CBC has great field position with under 4 to play in the second quarter.
And Darren Bennett did a really nice job, number 47 there, of coming off the block. It was a well-timed tackle effort. He did bring him down. He had a lot of work to do to get off of his man and bring down Bell, and he did that wonderfully.
4th down and a long one. Big play here in the second quarter. Crowd comes to their feet. Triplett hands it to Bell, who just powers it up the middle, and it looks like he's going to have it.
From here it did.
Looks like he got across the 45, which is what he needed to do, and they're going to spot it at the 44. First down, Hawks. Big play there for Hazelwood Central. They needed that first down. CBC surrenders the first down. The Hawks trying to score. 3:31 and counting here, second quarter.
And that's frustrating for CBC. You've had a couple good possessions on offense. You're starting to get things clicking. You're starting to deny them on the defensive side. And then you come a couple inches away from forcing a turnover and giving you one more possession before the end of half.
Triplett fires to Craddock. CBC reads it perfectly. Benji Gormley was there.
We got a flag down.
Flag coming in late. Gormley and Burks weren't having it on that play. Great defensive play.
Threw the
Cameron
fastball
Brown
to Craddock,
well.
didn't
He did. Trying to get him outside quickly, but CBC's speed. We're going to have a personal foul face mask call on that CBC defense. Again, the flag came from behind the defense, usually a personal foul.
Yeah, if you're a CBC fan, that's what you feared as soon as the flag came in. Of course, we can't see that from up here, but it is what it is. So we talked about the frustration and allowing that first down conversion on 4th and 1. That frustration is compounded here. That's what you can't start doing. You can't start compounding your errors. Big difference between making that stop on 4th and 1, getting the ball with 3.5 to go, and now being backed up in your own zone and giving the Hawks a chance to tie or take the lead with 3:18 to go.
1st and 10 at the CBC 33. Triplett takes the snap. Hands it to number 11 this time. That is Jordan Carey, and he's tackled 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. One of the things that's interesting is the rules for high school public address announcers. The public address announcer here at Hazelwood Central, he's almost calling the game to everyone like a play-by-play broadcaster. He makes his announcements during plays, which is interesting. Being a public address announcer myself, very interesting that he does that.
It does make it easier when we can't see a number from time to time.
But usually you make announcements when the play is complete. But in high school, you have a little more fun with it. Here's Triplett. He pitches it over. That's Bell cutting it back, spin move. And another penalty coming from behind the play, and that might be on CBC once again.
Well, those are the sorts of situations CBC wants to have Hazelwood Central in, but when it comes down to it, you still got to make the tackles. We got an injured cadet and the medical staff coming out. Is that Percy Brown?
Yeah, that looks like 97.
That is Percy Brown.
He's not moving, which is not a good sign.
And Kristen Jeans, Dr. Benz, Coach Pingle, and the medical staff are out there.
Everybody takes a knee. One of the things I love about high school sports at this level, even in college they do it, is you get on that knee and you pay respect to that injured player. Another face mask call, by the way, on CBC. That's going to be another automatic first down. That's now 30 yards in personal foul penalties called on CBC on this drive. You can't have that against a great team like Hazelwood Central.
And in the first quarter, I got to apologize for overusing the word momentum. In the second quarter, I'm going to have to apologize before I do it, which is always good, for overusing the word frustrating right now. And for CBC, you had the opportunity to hold them on 4th and 1, okay, but you've got Hazelwood Central playing the way you want them to play. You've got the types of matchups. You've got the types of plays you want to see them running. They're going up against your speed outside. That's what you want. It's coming down to missed tackles on the perimeter and then to these personal fouls. You're playing the game the way you want to play it, and then you're handing them yards. It's just a killer.
You've handed them now 30 yards in personal foul penalties on this drive, and if Hazelwood Central punches it in, that's you got to go to that. That's the reason.
30 yards of 38, 40 yards they've gained on this drive. It's not just the number of yardage. I mean, if not for those, you've given up no more than 10 yards.
They started the drive at the 45-yard line. They're now at they've marched, let's see if I can do my quick math here.
That's the 16-yard line.
16-yard line, so you're talking 34, 39 yards, and 30 of them have come on penalties. So to your point, Tom Eichwald.
And this is crucial in this game right now. If you look at the clock as the referees get it sorted out, 2.5 to go here in the first quarter. CBC did start with the ball, so Hazelwood Central will start the second half with the ball. Now, if CBC can get a hold here in some way, they can maybe have a little bit of time to at least take a shot. The alternative, if Hazelwood Central scores, you have not a whole lot of time left on the clock. You have a tie game, and you're going into halftime, maybe with your heads down because you gave them basically a score. So very big opportunity for this cadet defense. Equally big opportunity for the Hazelwood Central offense here.
So the referees met about something, probably to make sure they had the ball spotted where it needed to be spotted, and they're going to talk to Coach Pingle now over on the far side and explain it to him.
And they did get Percy Brown off the field. He's moving around. That is good.
Good sign.
And we'll keep you posted as we can. Of course, we're not getting any word that you are not But we will certainly be looking over there on that sideline, see if we can see anything.
Just to give you a vantage point, we are on top of the Hazelwood Central press box. We're actually outside, and boy, am I glad we are outside. It is a beautiful day for football. Here's Bell, cuts it upfield, and across the 10, inside the 10 to the 9, and a big-time carry by Raphael Bell.
And it's not only a gain of yardage, but it's also a loss of time. You do not want to give the ball back to CBC if you're Hazelwood Central right now, so they're going to this is the time where Bell's going to have to step up, and he's going to have to keep pounding it, and you want to eat up the clock as well as these last 9 yards.
Bell again over the right side. Hey, look at
What a
Benji
tackle.
Gormley. Gormley beats the tackle, throws a forearm, and knocks Bell to the turf. What a play by Benji Gormley.
Nice tackle by the wide receiver, linebacker, long snapper, tight end, and all-around good guy.
Just call him MVP.
Just
Benji Gormley.
just call him Benji. I mean, there's nobody else that can do that on any team we have seen.
Benji Gormley, what a play. 3rd down, a loss of 6. This is Bell trying to throw it back across the field. Wide open is Triplett. A trick play from Hazelwood Central. Raphael Bell runs around the right side, turns it around, throws it back to the quarterback, and completely fooled the CBC defense.
Yeah, he caught MJ Anderson unaware over here on this near side for us. As Triplett went around, MJ was very focused on the ball, following around the backside. It wasn't until Bell stopped and looked back across that MJ took a glance over his right shoulder and saw Triplett, and by that point, there's nothing you can do.
Raphael Bell has thrown 2 passes this year, both for touchdowns. The extra point by Crawford is good, and Hazelwood Central takes a 14-13 lead with 1:26 to play in the first half. Last week, Raphael Bell on a trick play completed a 93-yard touchdown, which ended up being the winning touchdown pass with 6 minutes to go against St. Louis U High. This week, with time running out in the first half, Bell completes his 2nd pass of the year to the quarterback, Triplett, on the trick play. Wow, Hazelwood Central pulling out all the stops, and why not? District championship game, Tom.
He's got to be near the lead. If you throw out the minimums, he's got to be near the lead in QBR for the state of Missouri, I have to imagine.
2 for 2, 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards total.
And for CBC, we talked about the situation. If you give up a touchdown, they now have 1 minute and 26 seconds with this as we get set for our TJ's kickoff here. 1 minute and 26 seconds, not a lot of time. Of course, you have the capability of moving the ball fast if things can get going. But that's a big, big score to give up.
So, Trey Haynes and Brandon Douglas deep, looking for a big return. Line drive kick, and there's plenty of room here for Haynes to make something happen. He cuts over the middle, across the 20, to the 25, tackled at the 24. So, good job by the Hazelwood Central special teams to limit the return by Trey Haynes. CBC, what do they do here? 1 minute 21 to play. Typically for a CBC offense, 1 minute 21 is plenty of time to get into scoring range, whether that be field goal or touchdown.
Key word there, typically. This has not been a typical CBC first half, though. So I think right now, 1 minute 21 seconds drive, big opportunity if you can pull it off. But the sign so far is that this is going to be a difficult 1 minute and 21 seconds for CBC.
2 tailbacks in the game, flanking Brett Gabbard. He takes the shotgun snap, he hands it to Caleb Allen. No gain on the play, maybe 1. Hazelwood Central ready for that run, and I think that just tells you what CBC's planning on doing here, running the clock down and going into the halftime with the 14-13 score. Let's see if we're correct. 2nd and 9. Gabbard out of the gun, hands it again to Allen. Over the left side, he's going to get out of bounds across the 30 to the 32. That'll stop the clock with 57 seconds to play. Maybe the tactic here is lull Hazelwood Central to sleep, make them think you're just going to run the clock out, and then boom. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's stepping out of bounds there is odd. It not going according to script, or at least not the script we're thinking that we have.
Once again, flanked by both tailbacks. Gabbard hands it on the misdirection, and boy, is he hit. Hit in the backfield. Number 11 was there first, Jordan Carey. And these active linebackers and defensive backs, Craddock, Carey, Whitfield, they played a major factor in this first half for Hazelwood Central.
Brings up a 4th and 7.
CBC's going to run this clock down. So under 20 seconds on the play clock. And
So there is going to have to be a play run here.
They will either run a play or call timeout and then run the play. But yes, either way, we will see one more play, and Hazelwood Central will hope for a big punt return, as that's, I'm assuming,
and there's the
what's
timeout.
going to happen. There's the timeout. Simpson will come on to punt. Craddock will be deep. And we have 11 seconds on the clock. If Craddock gets a good return, that could set up a Hail Mary at the end of the half for Hazelwood Central. Big punt here for Austin Simpson. Hazelwood Central 14, CBC 13. We are almost at halftime. And this game is as exciting as it was billed to be, with an 11-0 Hazelwood Central and a 10-1 CBC Cadet team.
And you got to say, it is an enjoyable afternoon. You got great football, great weather, starting to get a little chilly, a little bit of fall in the air up here. But Hazelwood Central's making it a tough afternoon to enjoy right now for these cadets. The test has been more than adequate.
Back deep is Craddock. Simpson stands just inside his 15 at the 13-yard line. Craddock stands at his 30. You know, they told him, do take care of the football here. And if it's bouncing to him, I would expect Craddock to just let it roll. We'll see.
Yep.
Here's the punt. Lands at midfield, takes a CBC bounce, but not ideal. Hazelwood Central has it at the 48.
And, most importantly, you don't give Craddock the chance to return. 11 seconds left. Not sure that was intentionally pooched or if it was mishit a little bit. I do not think you wanted to put the ball in Craddock's hands with 11 seconds to go. You'll take your chance on a play from scrimmage. You do not want to give him a chance on a return where absolutely anything can happen.
The question is, does Hazelwood Central go into halftime with the 1-point lead and just down it or run it up the middle, or do they try a Hail Mary here at the end of the half and hope for some luck? It looks like they've got.
That's not a kneel formation.
It's not a victory formation, and Bell is in the game. 4 wide receivers. Carey actually checks in the backup tailback.
5 seconds on the clock at the start of this one.
Let's see what Hazelwood Central does. 3-man rush from CBC. They drop back in coverage. They're going for the Hail Mary. He's going deep. It's incomplete. And
why not?
That will end the first half. The CBC Cadets and the Hazelwood Central Hawks are effectively playing to a draw. On the scoreboard, it's a 1-point lead for Hazelwood Central, 14-13. We are going to halftime. And Tom Eichwald and Randy Molman will be back with you to bring you the second half in just a few minutes.
Let me help you protect what matters most and prepare for your retirement. I want to help everyone in the CBC family save money and stay protected. I've been in the business for 25 years. My team and I are ready to help you protect your family and save money. You can contact me at 314-842-4442. My email address is tim@timkylo.com, or my website is timkylo.com. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Football players have been part of a national conversation going on right now that covers some pretty heavy topics. Prejudice, race relations, social justice. It's unfortunate, but these are issues that affect all of us.
Our guys came together to talk about this stuff. These aren't easy conversations, but they trusted each other and came together to talk about them as a team.
As their coach and as CBC alum, I'm proud of our players. This week on the back of our jerseys, we're wearing the word honor, and I think that's perfect because it took courage to talk about these issues, and that is a tribute to CBC and the ones that came before them.
There's so much in this world that can tear us apart.
So many things that aren't fair.
That aren't right.
So many things that don't make sense.
It frustrates me.
It makes me sad.
It makes me angry.
Our school and our team are like the real world. We are made up of guys from all parts of St. Louis.
We come from different backgrounds and have different experiences.
We don't always agree on everything,
but we listen to each other.
We learn from each other.
We are brothers.
And we love each other. Together, we are committed to take the next step
to bring people together
and work for positive change.
Together.
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 Tonight, we honor our past.
And together, we work for a better tomorrow.
We stand together.
We kneel together.
And we rise together.
Let me help you protect what matters most and prepare for your retirement. I want to help everyone in the CBC family save money and stay protected. I've been in the business for 25 years. My team and I are ready to help you protect your family and save money. You can contact me at 314-842-4442. My email address is tim@timkylo.com, or my website is timkylo.com. Enjoy the rest of the game.
A CBC high school education is about a transformation from boys to men. It is about the formation of a brotherhood that will stand the test of time. It is about service and discovery. It is about coming to understand the world around us and the people that live in it, and ourselves through real life experiences.
I am one, but I'm not the only one. I can do some things, but I can't do everything. What I can do, ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. For my God, for my school.
All for all, God for us all. Christian Brothers on the move.
St. John Baptist de La Salle believed that everyone has been blessed by God with individual gifts and talents. These gifts and talents need to be recognized and celebrated. And that is what we're all about here at CBC. Our pledge to my brother promotes this idea that there is value in each of us individually. But it also recognizes that each of us has weaknesses as well. It is only when we come together as a community that we achieve our full potential. And that is the commitment or pledge that our young men make to one another. I am here for you when you need me. I will lift you up.
Being a CBC brother, to me it means being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and being a part of something that you know is always going to be there as long as you live.
CBC is really all about relationships.
They know and sense and feel a tremendous brotherhood, and that benefits them for their future, but it also gives them a grounding that they can always come back to and feel comfortable being a part of. It's a tremendous thing.
When I think about myself being a brother to CBC, I just remember how coming here, you know, everybody was helping me out. I remember how being a brother that was taught, you know, look out for one another.
It's more that feel of family and brotherhood that just, it gives them incredible confidence to do good things.
I am the person I am today because of my experiences at CBC, because of who I met here at CBC, my friends, the teachers, the coaches.
You see them grow from, you know, little guys to these men that are doing incredibly valuable things. That makes us very proud here at CBC that we've played a small part in that development. It's awesome.
God for us all. God for us all. Christian Brothers on the move. Christian Brothers on the move. St. John Baptist de La Salle. Pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts.
Let me help you protect what matters most and prepare for your retirement. I want to help everyone in the CBC family save money and stay protected. I've been in the business for 25 years. My team and I are ready to help you protect your family and save money. You can contact me at 314-842-4442. My email address is tim@timkylo.com, or my website is timkylo.com. Enjoy the rest of the game.
And welcome back, everybody. We are in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. You might be hearing Back in Black over the PA. We are back in the booth. It's basically the same thing. So, Tom Eichwald alongside Randy Molman getting set for second half of the state quarterfinal, 2016 state playoffs. CBC trailing Hazelwood Central 14-3 at the Hawks home stadium. We were talking off air, Randy, about what needs to happen in the second half, about what might be going on around in these locker rooms. Of course, just speculation, but let's share our speculation. What are you thinking?
Well, I think for sure CBC allowed that second touchdown, and 30 of the yards that Hazelwood Central gained on that drive was off of personal foul calls on the CBC defense, face masking penalties. So I think discipline was talked about at halftime. Stay disciplined. Don't make stupid mistakes on defense. On the other side, Hazelwood Central's got to be thrilled with where they're at. They start with the ball. They're beating CBC, and they've run the ball up the middle very well. You and I talked about it also. The middle of the field, I think, is going to be huge in the second half. Hazelwood Central running it up the middle, and CBC finding receivers down the middle on offense can either be stopped by the opposing defense.
And I think one of the plots of the second half we're going to have to really watch for is the depth. For CBC, you got a lot of guys who can make an impact. I imagine Caleb Allen is going to have a pretty heavy workload here in the second half. But on the other side of the ball, I want to talk about Bell, about Raphael Bell. In a game where he is clearly the man, and there really isn't much of a second option, at least from what we've seen so far running the ball, and when the run being so central to Hazelwood Central's offense, I've got to imagine this is going to be an absolutely exhausting second half for Bell.
Raphael Bell has been making a living in the middle of the field, running up the middle. He can't go outside. CBC's defense is too fast, and he has not been successful going to the outside. CBC has Cameron Babb lined up down here in between the second and third quarter. He's fielding some punts. I wonder if there's any situation where Cameron Babb sees some action here today. I don't know. But to your point, up the middle with Raphael Bell. Last week, remember this, everybody, last week, CBC had some issues on defense against Marquette. At halftime, they got together. Coach Dimovitz came back out. They made some adjustments with that defense, and they pummeled Marquette in the second half on defense. Let's see if the same adjustments hold true here today.
And as we get set here for second half action on CSN, this is not the last bit of action you're going to see on CSN today. It is a full day of state quarterfinal action, one of the biggest athletic days in the 166-year history of CBC. We have the state quarterfinal football game here. CBC could advance to the Final Four if they can come back and beat Hazelwood Central here. But CBC soccer takes on SLU tonight at CBC at 6 o'clock. That is also a state quarterfinal. That is a chance to advance to play the winner of Howell North and Eureka. Rockhurst looming on the other side of the bracket there in soccer. It almost sounds like we're talking about football, doesn't it? But big opportunity for CBC. Win both, you're in both semifinals. Lose both, your season's over. Fall season wraps up. State cross country, state swimming already underway. So a lot hanging in the balance for CBC. Here in the third quarter, you're going to see CBC in the white. They're going right to left across your screen. And in the aforementioned anthracite will be Hazelwood Central going left to right. Anthracite, Bumblebee socks, the works.
The Bumblebee socks are my favorite. I do like the Bumblebee socks. I know many don't like those. Man, I love those.
Love the Bumblebee socks more than the occasional Bumblebee we've actually had up here on top of the press box.
Yeah, in November, we're dealing with Bumblebees.
And Otto Etzel's kick is a high one. And this is fielded at the 10. And Reggie Certain Jr. is going to make his way, good return, up to the 35. So Reggie Certain doing a nice job there. And that will bring out this Hazelwood Central offense. We talked about them, the key man being Raphael Bell. And being able to control the middle of the field will be the battle. So do you think they're going to try to hit hard up the middle early?
I think that was the formula that kept them in this game in the first half. They were able to eat clock. Bell broke off 2 carries of 20-plus. He had a couple of 10-yard carries, all between the tackles. And so far, that's been the formula. The key is watch CBC's linebackers, Zamuda and Carey. Let's see if they are at home a little bit more in the middle of the field to help with that running game.
Triplett takes a snap. Little read option inside. He holds on to it, and he is going to be brought down by Von Burks, number 3. Von Berks actually came out with the ball, but Triplett was down. Good news for all the Cadet fans out there. Percy Brown back on the line. As soon as I say that, Gabe Kettering comes in to replace him. But Percy, injured in that first half, did go off the field. He appears to be okay. That's certainly welcome news. One of the nicest young men you will ever meet. And here's the handoff inside. This is Bell, and he is stopped at the line. Nice tackle there by Brandon Zamuda. Had a little help from Carey.
Good play there by the CBC defense. 3rd and very, very short for Hazelwood Central.
And we saw CBC give up a 4th and 1 on a run up the middle from Bell in the first half, towards the end of the first half. And Bell is not a guy you want to try to keep from getting 1 yard. He can get 1 yard in a sleep, it seems. And if they try to run it, which actually it's going to be Triplett, and Triplett gets first and then some. He's going to be brought down eventually, it looked like by Bledsoe. That is Brent Bledsoe on the tackle, but he picks up a first down with about 6 or 7 to spare, and it will be 1st and 10, fresh set of downs at the CBC 48-yard line. So the Hawks looking to move the ball early.
Good misdirection play call there by Hazelwood Central as they faked it to Bell. Bell over the left side, and CBC's line followed him that way. Triplett kept it himself and got the first down.
And we mentioned Triplett, no stranger to running the ball either. And Triplett snap. Similar look, but then he's going to throw it, and that is over the middle. Almost getting a hand on it was Brent Bledsoe. That pass was intended for
Javon Kirk. And by the way, Kirk was very upset because you know why? Had Triplett put some air under it. He flung that, but he threw it hard. He threw a fastball down the middle. All he needed to do was throw a changeup with a little loft, and number 23, Javon Kirk, was streaking down the left seam. He would have been wide open had Triplett seen that. Instead, he threw a fastball, and it was incomplete.
Frankly, CBC's defense gets away with one there. And Bell brought down by M.J. Anderson. Looked like some help from Gabe Kettering on the inside. So that's a gain of about 4.
Big 3rd down here for the Cadet defense.
Correction, 2. So it will be 3rd and 8 from the CBC 46. And Triplett and Bell. Bell's on the right side. That's about the only variety we've had in the backfield for the Hawks. Just which side of Triplett does Bell stand on? 10 minutes and 3 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. 1-point lead for the Hawks. Here's the throw, and that is off of, was that Sullivan?
Looked like Cradith.
That was Cradith.
And by the way, he slipped coming back to the ball, and that affected his ability to make that catch.
Yeah, it went through his hands, kind of where you're trying to keep your hands on the ball, but instinct tells you to use your hands to brace yourself, and bad things happen. Ball hits yourself right in the face mask. Under 10 minutes to go here now.
CBC's got to be happy with the first drive stop here in the second half. Watch for the fake. This is a great part of the field to run or execute a fake punt. Let's see what happens.
Assuming it is not a fake, Trey Haynes will be back to receive this one. And he's going to take his time. And a good kick. Trey Haynes calls for a fair catch, and he does bring it in. And Trey Haynes, we talked about the surface. He has swapped cleats at halftime, and this is not the NFL, so we assume nobody told him to take off those gold cleats. So I imagine what happened is he's got some longer studs on there, maybe some softer ground grass cleats as opposed to the molded artificial surface cleats.
I imagine that several players may have changed their shoes here for the second half. I mean,
just tends to be one more noticeable when one of your pairs is made of gold.
Exactly. But with this natural grass, and if you look at this field, it is patchy. There's mud all over. There is nothing hard or salient about that surface. Look at Allen.
Allen outside of the right, and he's going to pick up about 4, it looks like. And it will bring up 2nd and 6. A little bit of guesswork here due to the angle. 2nd and 5. They give him 5. So it will be 2nd and 5. Allen to the right of Gabbard. He's got 1 wide receiver to the right, 3 to the left, and he elects to run it up the middle, and he's going to pick up a couple, maybe 1 or 2 at best.
I'm a little perplexed on that play call. That was a designed run by Gabbard, and Hazelwood Central had closed that up quickly.
And I wonder if there's a little miscommunication. Benji Gormley over here on the near side, I don't think it was a diversion. I think he might have been expecting the ball. Then he goes over to the sideline with his hands raised. I think you might be wondering what went on with that play call. Gabbard Brought down by Cam Brown. Good catch by Cam Brown. Throw a little bit tall for him, but he's able to bring it in, and he is tackled by number 2, Tayon Holt.
Good catch by Cameron Brown. As you said, the ball was high. He went up to get it, and Holt was on him the minute he made that catch, but he held on. Great catch by Cameron Brown, first down.
Now we have Walton and Brown over here on the near side. Gormley lined up as a tight end. Looks like Josh Wallace over there on that far side. Walton in motion. Here's the handoff to Tyler Walton. He's around on the right looking for something, and good defense. Great closing speed from Hazelwood Central. And the player that brought him down there, looks like Jordan Pruitt, number 6.
Looks like CBC has run that play a couple of times now. Cam Brown ran it earlier to no avail, and now Ty Walton stopped short. And Hazelwood Central is very prepared for that stretch play end around to a wide receiver.
And here's Allen. And I was just about to say, case in point right there, I was just about to say CBC, the run has been very tough going. You got to keep trying. You got to keep them on the front foot. But at the same time, if this game is going to be won, you get the feeling it's going to be Gabbert flinging the ball a little bit more than he has been so far.
3rd and a long 9 here. Come on.
Under 8 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Be interesting to see what they dial up here on offense.
And Gabbert is going to fling it over the top for Cam Brown. And that one, it was overthrown slightly.
Brown didn't reach out to try to make the catch, which is odd, but it was long, and so it'll be 4th down.
It was. And we've seen a couple long throws going this way. Again, just a slight tailwind. I wonder if it's causing it to sail a little bit. Not sure.
Now, CBC's attempted those long throws from going from your right to your left. They're not attempting those throws from your left to your right. The wind would be in their face in that instance. But still, that's 3 overthrows now on the deep ball trying to hit Cameron Brown.
Those are throws that have been connected most weeks this season. Simpson on to punt. Kind of says what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear if you're wearing purple today, but. And Austin Simpson is going to roll to his right. And that hits down at the 40, takes a CBC bounce, and it will be downed at the 33-yard line of Hazelwood Central. So the Hawks will take over. It is a big CBC sports weekend, but we certainly don't want to miss the fact that it's a big weekend for CBC as a school community, especially admissions-wise. 2 things. First of all, open house tomorrow, 11 to 3, correction. Come on by, take a tour, see the wonderful things that are going on at CBC, sample the food. You will not be disappointed. We will have football on. Don't worry about it. I'm also hearing word of attendance prizes. There will be some cash given away.
Nice.
You can also have your selfie taken by a robot built by the CBC Robotics Club.
Wow.
And here is, speaking of robots, Bell, who has been robotic so far in the run up the middle, picks up about 6.
Hazelwood Central not deviating from their game plan, powering it up the middle. So open house tomorrow. What else is tomorrow? Anything?
Well, what else tomorrow? When you come for the open house, you can talk about this. But if you want to spend a day as a cadet, find out what it's like as Bell goes up the middle again, we want to encourage you to do that. So please encourage any grade school student you know, especially an 8th or 7th grader, to pay us a visit and experience CBC for himself. You'll want to call Melissa Ryan at 314-985-6095 to schedule a tour of CBC or an 8th grade shadow visit. 7th grade shadowing will be available in the spring. Again, the number 314-985-6095. Spend a day with us and experience what CBC is all about. And here is the snap to Triplett in the shotgun. Hands off, fakes the handoff. It's an option inside again. And Brandon Zamuda, about 3 yards deep in the backfield, makes a tackle. Benji Gormley picks up a fumble. And he's brought down by Sullivan. That is CBC ball. The Cadets will have the ball on the 28-yard line of Hazelwood Central. The handoff up the middle is met by Brandon Zamuda, who takes the ball, and Benji Gormley picks it up.
Triplett trying to do too much, reached that ball across as he was trying to reach it over the first down marker. And by the time, before he went down, the ball popped free. CBC recovers. Huge turnover. They've got to be able to cash in.
6:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Gabbert has Higgins and Allen either side, 1 receiver wide on either side. Benji Gormley tight end left side. Here's Allen. Almost spins out of 1, but a nice tackle there by, looked like number 67. No, not 67. Is that 57 maybe? There is no 57.
Matt McGilbury, I think. But
Matt
the thing you have The thing you've got to be impressed with is we were talking at halftime as well about missed tackles. CBC has not. Hazelwood Central's defense does a great job wrapping up.
Gabbert out of the shotgun. And hold calls come from the near sideline. And it certainly looked like, was it Allen maybe? It was either Allen or Higgins. Had a little bit of the back of somebody's jersey.
They got away
but it
with
is an
one.
incomplete pass. It was a hold.
3rd and long here, big down here. Gabbert, the pocket collapsed around him. He bought a little extra time but couldn't make an accurate throw on the run.
And now Gabbert's going to take it. 3 wide receivers left, 1 right. He's got Allen to his right-hand side, does Brett Gabbert. And Gabbert, nice one-handed grab on the snap. Flag down in the backfield. This will be on the defense, free play. And Gabbert picks up the first down, spins inside, and he picks up about 4 on top. We do have a flag in the backfield. Oh, they're going to get, was that an illegal shift or something? Against CBC, it is an illegal shift, according to the public address announcer.
At that point, the play's already started. You don't want to blow the whistle. It might cause an injury. So they threw the flag, let the play run out, and now they'll call the penalty.
And a great run by Brett Gabbert, ruled out needlessly. The
tough penalty there, too, because he picked up the first down on 3rd and 12. Now it's 3rd and 17.
So 3rd and long for CBC. We talked about Gabbert needing to air the ball out a little bit if CBC is going to come back and win this. Good opportunity to do that here. And he's going to take the snap. Back to pass. Good protection again.
Look at that protection.
Rolls to the right. And he finds, was that Josh Wallace over there?
They're saying incomplete. He didn't have control of it.
No, he would not have gotten the first down even if he had caught that. So Austin Simpson will come out for the punt.
Give Hazelwood Central's defensive backs a lot of credit. That was more of a coverage play than anything else. They had CBC receivers blanketed despite Gabbert having all kinds of time.
And now Simpson will be back to punt. He's standing at the 50. This is target practice for a punter. Punters love this situation because you're trying to put it right in the corner, rule out the return, and pin Hazelwood Central back as deep as you can. Austin Simpson's very good at this.
3rd and 17, I wouldn't think a fake punt would
be
in order.
He rolls to the right and gets almost to the line of scrimmage, and he is going to pin Hazelwood Central down at their own 6-yard line.
What a fantastic punt.
And a good block there. I didn't get a look at the number on the cadet player who pulled off a block, allowed Austin Simpson another 5 yards, make it that much easier of a punt. And not often you have to tell the punter to get the punt away so he doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. But
Hazelwood Central, yeah, they didn't put any pressure on him.
No.
You know, you wonder sometimes, I know that was 3rd and 17, too many yards to try to get on a fake punt, but you wonder sometimes when Simpson's rolling out and no one's pressuring him.
At what point do you just
take off running and see what happens?
Austin Simpson's a pretty big guy. I would not want to try to tackle him. Not the fastest guy on the team, but the guy that it would hurt to bring down.
Oh, yeah, plays linebacker on defense, good size.
And so the Hawks pin deep with 5:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. 1-point lead for them. Bell around the outside, met by a host of cadets. First player there was Von Burks. Luke Carey ends up getting in on it as well.
I don't understand. I'm going to be honest here. I don't understand why you ever run against this defense outside of the tackles. You are not going to outspeed to the edge that CBC defense.
Well, especially when you're inside your own 10-yard line. I wouldn't think that would be ideal when you're on the 6-yard line.
When you negate speed, you just pound it right up the middle. That negates the cadet speed.
And triplet is brought down by Douglas, made the first contact. Looked like Bledsoe and somebody else over there helped.
3rd and 4 now.
And we got an injured player. Is that MJ Anderson over there, number 9, I believe? He's holding the knee. I'm not sure exactly what happened. At first I thought it might have been a cramp, but he's now holding the knee. And this is not good, either the knee or the hamstring or something.
Whenever someone is being that demonstrative.
Oh, it is. Okay, it is a cramp.
Looks like a cramp. That's good. Good sign.
It's either a cramp or it's something you don't want to even mention. But they are stretching out. It does appear to be a cramp. In case 2 quarterfinal games and an open house is not enough, we also have the annual CBC auction coming up, the 44th annual CBC auction to be exact. And I can't believe I'm using these words. Christmas is coming.
It's unbelievable. I was in the car the other day with my son. He says to me, Christmas is less than 2 months away. And I said, yeah. And he's like, wow, I can't believe it. He's 9 years old. He knows that it hasn't even gotten cold yet outside in St. Louis.
You're wearing short sleeves,
I'm
Randy
wearing
Molman.
short sleeves. It's wonderful.
But when Christmas comes every year, it means we're also getting ready for the annual CBC auction. You'll want to mark your calendars and join us Saturday, December 3rd. It's an evening of fun with the entire CBC family. We're highlighting our fine and performing arts department this year. We'll have plenty of live performances from our talented students. For more information, this is a party you can actually call and ask to be invited to. Those opportunities are rare. Call Linda Knoll, 314-985-6094. Don't miss the fun as we celebrate CBC.
Big third down here by the Cadet defense.
Huge third down. Triplett pulls it down inside, and he is going to get the first down, and he is brought down. And off the ball, we've got I'm not sure, somebody brought down.
It's like an official over on the sidelines, maybe one
part
of the
chain
gang.
crew?
Yeah, I think he got knocked down. Big run there by Triplett, because if that turns into a fourth down, CBC would have great field position.
It was. CBC still could get great field position. They haven't lost the opportunity, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. 4.5 to go here in the third quarter. Triplett pulls it back, and he's going to go around the left. Same play, and he's going to get hit by Brent Bledsoe, and it looks like he's going to plow into Coach Jim Gertis Jr., who is okay, dusts off the pants, and he is fine.
I would be crying like a little girl.
Jim Gertis Jr., a graduate of CBC, class of 1990, veteran, served with the United States Army in Afghanistan.
See, he's a real man.
Yeah, I think he's
a real
He's
man.
taken a few a few hits before.
A hit on the sideline is nothing to him.
No. And that's up the middle. Of course, his dad, longtime principal of CBC as well, James Gertis Sr., loved by all. My principal when I attended
Your
CBC.
principal, there you go. I can see Justin Williams over there in street clothes. He's got his crutches, and boy, could the Cadets have used him today. Antoine Higgins has been pretty good in relief, though,
He has been. He has been very good, but there's no two ways about it. Justin Williams is a huge, huge loss for CBC. And the wide receiver goes down, Craddock, but no foul play, says the official. So that will bring up a 3rd down and 6. And again, no scoring so far in this third quarter. It's been a lot of back and forth, mostly on your left-hand half of the field. That is the defensive half for Hazelwood Central. Big opportunity again for CBC. These 3rd downs in this area of the field are huge. And this time, Triplett will be brought down. They got 2 big gains off that option around the left-hand side. Not going to get a 3rd.
Option read stopped that time by the CBC defense. Triplett kept it himself. Big stop. And now what does the Hazelwood Central coach Van Veneta decide to do here? Are they going to punt? Looks like they might be punting.
And looks like either there was some indecision and Triplett was unsure what the play was, or he's throwing his hands up saying, what are we doing? Let me go for it. I like my chances.
That's Javon Kirk punting. He's also a tight end and an inside linebacker. He does the punting.
I love those combinations you get in high school and college football.
I do too.
And now he's going to kick it. Trey Haynes back to receive. No fair catch. He muffs it. And Hazelwood Central returns it. He put his hand up. Looked like he thought about calling a fair catch. Pull it down. We talked about that earlier in the game. Oz Hakeem comparisons were made. And that is a bad, bad mistake from Trey Haynes right there.
Trey Haynes has a little more problem receiving punts when he is running laterally backwards. So in other words, when he tries to take the angle back to catch that ball over his shoulder, he has problems reading it, and he had a little problem reading that one. It slipped right through his hands, fell onto the turf. Hazelwood Central recovered, and now they're set up to take a bigger lead here in the third quarter.
And it's a difficult skill. We don't mean to make it sound like it's easy, but in a game like this, those mistakes are huge. And as we see Bell on the inside, and Bell is going to get about, 7 or so maybe?
Yeah, close to 7
about
yards on that carry.
2nd and 3 maybe. Still waiting on the official spot.
Trey Haynes muffed one earlier, was fortunate enough to fall on it, and it was the same situation. The ball kicked over his head. He ranged back sort of at an angle to make a running catch a la center fielder on a ball in the gap. And Trey Haynes, the difference there between a baseball flying in the gap and a football is that football is wobbly and will catch wind and will sort of dive in midair. It fell short on Haynes. He couldn't come up with it. And Hazelwood Central is within striking distance, already ahead by 1. Very unfortunate.
And we have an injured player here. Not sure on the number, but it is a Hazelwood Central player. While we have a second, we mentioned the open house coming up. We mentioned that it's featuring our fine and performing arts departments this year. We want to congratulate some CBC students and musicians, Jack Heat, CJ Wadkins, and Aiden Murrow, each of whom were recently selected as finalists in major musical competitions. Jack and CJ both won local competitions, traveled to Chicago this week to compete in the Guitar Center National Drum-Off, and Aiden has been selected as a finalist in the Big Fat Jazz Challenge as a guitarist. Good luck, Aiden, and congratulations to all 3 of these cadets. Our Fine and Performing Arts Department is yet another reason we are so proud to say that we are stronger than ever.
Raphael Bell was the injured player, and you just hope for that kid that he wasn't seriously hurt. He came off under his own power, which is a good sign, and I'm sure he'll be back out there shortly.
And he's hobbling a little bit. When we said it was a Hazelwood Central player down, there's a big difference between a Hazelwood Central player down and Bell down. We mentioned that, is the depth there for Hazelwood Central. He's a guy you need back out in the field.
He is their bell cow, their number 1 tailback.
And the handoff inside. And dragged back is
17. Looks like Shamel Morrow getting his first carry of the day.
And Morrow is brought down. There is no trainer looking at Bell right now. He's just stretching out on the sideline. Looks like he will be okay. He's going to make his way back over by the coaches, doing some jogging. He may take a little bit of a break and then be right back in there, I would expect.
Big play for this CBC defense.
3rd and 6. Triplett takes the snap, throws over to the near side. Ooh, I tell you, if Von Burks had been looking at the quarterback instead of the man, that would have been picked off. Went right in front of his face.
The thing about Triplett you like is his ability to run the ball. The thing that he's suspect is if you put him in 3rd and long situations and force him to throw, that's what CBC needs to be doing here in the second half. That's what happened there. Triplett couldn't find his man, 4th down.
And for the second time in this game, CBC is able to hold Hazelwood Central to a field goal attempt deep in their own territory. Now, the first one was missed, so we're 0 for 1 here on the kicks. And the kicker is Jeremy Crawford. And that one is good. That's a wonderful kick. Got a lot of leg on that one. So that makes it 17-13 in favor of the home Hazelwood Central Hawks. So with 1:50 to go in the 3rd, CBC now trailing by 4.
So Hazelwood Central cashes in on a CBC mistake. Just like at the end of the first half, when Hazelwood Central drove 55 yards for a touchdown, 30 of those yards were CBC penalties, and Hazelwood Central was able to take advantage. And again, a muff punt. They're set up at the 17-yard line, and they cash it in for 3.
And that's 14 points, courtesy of penalties and a mistake like that, essentially. And how many does Hazelwood Central have? 17.
17 points.
14 of their 17.
The good thing about this CBC...
I'm sorry, 10 of their 17.
The good thing about this CBC coaching staff is they'll put it right back in Haynes' hands. He's back there at the goal line. I guarantee the coaches pulled him aside and said, look, stop trying to do too much. You don't need to do too much. Field the ball, protect the ball, and use your explosiveness to put us in a good spot. And let's hope he gets a shot right here to get a big return here for the Cadets. And that would do wonders for his confidence.
This kickoff, like all of them, brought to you by TJ's Pizza and Fundraising. And they tried a little onside, and they've got it. Did it go 10 yards? It did. Hazelwood Central has the ball. They get the points, a perfectly executed onside kick from a normal kick formation. What a job by Crawford of putting that one up, and then I couldn't tell what the number was, but the Hazelwood Central Hawks for going and getting it.
Josh Drummond called for a fair catch, but here's the problem. If you're going to call for the fair catch, you got to go up and make the catch. He allowed a Hazelwood Central player to jump over him in front of him to catch that ball before he touched it. And now, if he makes that fair catch call and he gets hit, then it's a penalty. But you still have to go up for the ball, and he didn't do it. He stood on the ground, kept his feet planted. Hazelwood Central, with a very, very smart play, jumped up, made the play, and now they have the ball at the CBC 40. Another mistake by the Cadets.
And that's got to be what this Cadet coaching staff is talking about, and we now have the officials. Coach Pingle's going to talk to him. He's going to say, how is that not fair catch interference? Now, does the rule state that you have to make an attempt? I got to imagine there's something.
I think if you call for a fair catch, no one can hit you. They have to allow you to field the ball. Now, that's probably what Coach Pingle is saying is if he throws his arm up, they have to stay away from him and allow him to field the ball. But I don't know if that's the high school rule or not. I do know in college and in the pros, if you raise your hand up, you got to give that person, what is it, a 5-yard buffer, I think, to be able to make that fair catch. To me, the rule seems a little trickier, being that it was more of an onside kick. Because if the ball never touched the ground, which it didn't, then it's a standard kickoff. And I would think if you throw that arm up, you should be allowed the 5-yard buffer. Now, if that kicker drilled it into the turf and it bounced up, completely different.
Well, and the other part of that is, did he catch it without contacting the player? Because if he went up, and I mean, he was still within that, was it 2 yards, I believe, within that halo, they call it, then without making contact, it's still technically a violation. If he caught it more than 2 yards away from him without making contact, then you'd have to say it's fair. But it's a bang-bang play. The hand clearly went up. The one thing that can't be doubted, there was a fair catch call.
There was a fair catch call.
Which is heads up by Josh Drummond of doing that. How many people think to do that when you get an unsuspected ball?
It was. He still, maybe in his mind, when he raised that arm up, he thought, look, I'm making the fair catch call. I don't have to go up and get it. They have to stay out of my way. The thing that has to be noted, and you're right, it is a 2-yard buffer, not a 5-yard buffer, but the thing that needs to be noted is that did the ball hit the turf coming off the kicker's foot? Because if it did, then it is in play and a fair catch doesn't matter.
It did not. I'm a soccer guy. I watched the way a ball is struck. It was straight up in the air off the tee, so it did not contact the ground.
Right. What we saw is definitely a pooch where the ball did not hit the turf, which means it's a regular kickoff. The regular rules apply if you throw your hand up for a fair catch. And so that's why, if they get this right, it'll be CBC's ball. If they don't, Hazelwood Central could really take advantage and blow this thing open.
And the referee is still conferring. Both sides at one point or another, Benji Gormley for CBC and a couple of Hazelwood Central players have enthusiastically pointed one way or the other.
What it comes down to, again, for the officials is, did you see the ball hit the turf off the tee? If you didn't, then it's a fair catch call, and that's CBC, that should be CBC ball, or a re-kick because of a penalty, because it should be interference on the fair catch.
And from up here, there is no way that ball hit the ground.
Right, I agree.
It's not CBC speaking. I know I'm an alum. I know only one of these schools signs my paychecks, but that is very clearly did not hit the turf. It is a standard catch, one would think. That being said, defensive players still out there for CBC. It's Carey, Zamuda, and Gormley. Offense still on the field for Hazelwood Central. And now the referee is waving his arm, making the fair catch motion to the Hazelwood Central coaching staff. And we still have no idea which way this one's going to go. And this is all taking place, again, with 1 minute and 48 seconds to go here in this third quarter in a 4-point game in the state quarterfinals.
You've probably seen the replay on the Cadet Student Network. You can make your own decisions. But I can tell you from Tom and I's vantage point, we are literally right on that 35-yard line. We can see directly onto it. There is no chance that that kicker kicked that ball off the turf.
And now we have a penalty flag, and that has to be for fair catch interference. Now, what I'm wondering, boos come in from Hazelwood Central. Now, what I'm wondering, did Coach Scott Pingle initiate that coaching conversation? I'm sorry, that officiating conversation. In other words, were the officials having a conversation about it and then Coach Pingle weighed in? Or were they content with the call as it was on the field and Coach Pingle actually got the call reversed?
I don't know.
We may not know the answer to that question, but that's...
You figure both coaches, you figure Coach Pingle was one to go to the officials and say, hey, he had his hand up in the air. That's a fair catch. The ball did not hit the turf before it came down.
And so again, the Hazelwood Central fans did not like the reversal of the call, of course. Much less protestation from the players. I think the rule, as articulated to the coaches, they probably heard the explanation down there. But again, if the ball does not hit the ground and the fair catch is waived, you have to allow the player an opportunity to field it. And if you're inside that window and don't allow him an opportunity, it is a penalty. So the question would be, why is this CBC ball rather than a re-kick?
I don't know. With the flag, maybe they say you can re-kick it or get it at the 40-yard line. So I don't know the exact rule there. So CBC may have declined the penalty and taken the field position. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you this. We were quick I was quick to admonish Josh Drummond for not going up after that ball, but it turns out he made a very, very smart play, fair catch. Yeah, so that's what happens. They're going to call the flag and then mark off the 15 yards for personal foul interference on the fair catch. Again, I don't exactly know the rules. I can tell you that for a penalty on a kick like that, it would just be the same down here, is wherever that penalty gets thrown, they'll mark the 15 yards off on the personal foul. CBC's in business.
Allen underneath. He's going to pick up about 5. We do have a flag down, one coming from the backfield, and that is a hold against CBC. We also, are they saying we got another one? They're saying we got another penalty. This is the back judge here.
2 flags.
Yeah, so the flag came in from the referee. That was the hold. But another flag from the back judge. And that is a face mask. Those do offset. And that brings up
a do-over.
A do-over. No, are they going to go to second? No, first down.
Yeah, so it's the old do-over. 2 penalties and just like in the schoolyard. Nah, let's do it.
Just like in golf. Oh, wait, no, that's not the way it works.
I wish.
Yeah.
My golf game would be a lot better.
Don't we all? Gabbert takes this one, fakes the handoff to Allen. Gabbert's going to step up into the pocket, fires it to Gormley. Gormley with the first down and another 4 yards to boot. And CBC's flying. They want to keep moving. They want to keep this pace up, keep the same defensive unit on the field. Okay, you're fast, but do you have the endurance to hang with us if we're going to run a play every 10 seconds?
Big throw, good catch by Gormley. Gormley's such a key guy on this offense.
Now Gabbert. Fires. Cam Brown wide open. Cam jukes one. And ball's down. CBC pounces on it. CBC pounces on it. 2 offensive linemen had to pounce on that one. It looked like it was finally recovered by number 72, Jake Dieters.
Yep.
Good heads-up play by Jake Dieters to jump on that. Scary moment there for the Cadets. You get this big boost after a long officiating conversation. You don't want to squander it there.
They had the first down, too. The fumble brings it back. 2nd and 2. Oh, a lot of hand fighting on that play. I'm surprised the flag wasn't thrown.
And there was Walton, the intended receiver. So that brings up 3rd and 1 yard according to the scoreboard over there. With 1 minute and 2 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Again, the Cadets trailing by 4. If ever you've needed a score, this would be it. 2 backs in the backfield, Higgins and Allen. Here's the handoff to Allen inside. He's going to, I think he's got it. He just had to get to the other side of that 20-yard line, and he does have it. There's the signal. So under a minute to go here in the third quarter, and the Cadets have a fresh set of downs. And this ball is going to be spotted at the 19-yard line of Hazelwood Central. The chain's still moving. As soon as they're set, we'll get the whistle, and we'll keep going.
Here in the third quarter, the interesting part is that a field goal will be at Otto Etzel's back. Once we get to the fourth quarter, it'll be in his face.
And now Gabbert, all the time in the world back there. He's going to roll to his right, and he's going to pick up about 2 yards and make it out of bounds. Live to fight another day on that one.
I have been very impressed with the pass protection from this young CBC offensive line, and equally as impressed with the Hazelwood Central defensive backs. They have really covered well when Brett Gabbert's had time here today. And I think the story might be a little different if Cameron Babb were in the game.
True. And then you keep in mind those couple of deep shots, about 3 of them just barely overthrown from Gabbert too. Could be a very different game. Now Allen around the right side. He's got the first down, and he's going to go out of bounds. Came down hard. I don't know if there was a drain over there or something, but it looked like he went down hard over there. He's okay. And that is a first down. This will take CBC inside the 10. They're going to mark this somewhere around the 8-yard line. And so 1st and goal with 36 seconds to go here in the third quarter for the Cadets. Again, you're watching the Cadet Student Network. We've got an exciting one for you. State quarterfinal. Tom Eichwald alongside Randy Molman. A pivotal moment for the Cadets. 1st and 8. Gabbert around the right-hand side. Design run. And he's going to be hauled down at the 5. So that will bring up 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Been very even so far. Again, if you're tuning in for the second half, we saw a first quarter that was, and actually a first half to be fair, that was very much in the favor of Hazelwood Central. They were running the ball effectively up the middle. CBC, a lot of defensive penalties caused a lot of problems, some overthrown deep balls. Game's been much more even here in this third quarter, and CBC needs to start putting numbers on the board. If they're going to stay in this, Tyler Walton, did he catch that? He did! What a catch from Tyler Walton.
Now they're saying incomplete. They changed the call.
But the official right there said a catch, and it's the back judge who comes running over and says no.
They changed the call. It was what a tough sequence of events right there.
You don't often see the back judge overruling the side judge that side.
And the side judge was right in front of it, literally 2 feet away from that catch. Wow.
Boy, that's an odd one. I'd be a little upset about that if I were a coach.
Tough break there for CBC.
It is. What a wonderful effort from Tyler Walton. And now Gabbert's going to take the snap. 3rd and 6. 3rd and 5, I think. Scoreboard may be incorrect. Gabbert pulls it down. I don't think this one was planned. He's around the left. He's being chased down, and he's going to get brought down at the 5s for no gain. That will bring up 4th down for the Cadets. It will be 4th and 5 or 6. Again, a field goal does not tie it. 4-point difference. Do you go for it, Randy Molman?
I don't think so. I think you got to put points on the board, and that'll be the end of the third quarter as well. It'll be an interesting call. They're going to have some time to talk about it here in between quarters. You got to give some credit. It's been, actually, we've rarely seen it this year, maybe in the Rockhurst game, where the defense has really stayed strong in covering the CBC defensive backs. Brett Gabbert has had all day to throw the ball today, and he can't find open receivers. Hazelwood Central's defensive backs, phenomenal. The CBC offensive line, phenomenal. Something's got to give here in the fourth quarter.
And we're going to take a quick break here on CSN. When we come back, we will have fourth quarter action for you. State's quarterfinal. You're watching the Cadet Student Network.
Save money and stay protected. Let me help you protect what matters most and prepare for your retirement. I want to help everyone in the CBC family save money and stay protected. I've been in the business for 25 years. My team and I are ready to help you protect your family and save money. You can contact me at 314-842-4442. My email address is tim@timkylo.com, or my website is timkylo.com. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. There you got to hear from the man himself. We're so grateful for all the support Tim Kylo gives us here on CSN. Now, as the fourth quarter begins, one of these teams, this will be their final quarter.
CBC is going for it here, Tom.
And they're going to go for it. It's 4th and 6. And Gabbert, he's going to take it. Oh, no, direct snap to Caleb Allen. Throw to the near side. There's Gabbert. Touchdown, CBC.
Hey, CBC's got some trickery as well, Tom.
Hey, if Hazelwood Central can have a back throw pass to the quarterback for a touchdown around the corner, so can CBC. So that is a touchdown. It was a toss to Caleb Allen, who then threw it over to, I believe, Cameron Brown. And then Cameron Brown with the pass to Brett Gabbert. And that is a touchdown. If this extra point is good, it will be a 3-point lead for CBC.
That's Coach Pingle saying, you got trick plays, so do we.
And the kick is up. Oh, that's blocked. Now that is a big block because that means that a field goal takes the lead. It is no longer enough to get a field goal to tie. That is a field goal takes the lead for Hazelwood Central. So see, if you're CBC, you really wanted that one to go in.
By the way, that's 2 missed extra points today because remember, CBC went for it earlier and did not get the 2-point conversion. So they have 2 scoring drives where they did not convert the extra points, and that could be a real game changer late. CBC will get ready to kick off now as we have just under 12 minutes to go. The winner will take on Blue Springs out of the Kansas City area, who really thumped their opponent last night. They knocked off Francis Howell, and they will play the winner of Hazelwood Central CBC next week. Kirkwood is also battling. They are a game away from the state title game, and they will play Rockhurst, who CBC knows very well. They played this year. That ought to be a great game. This is the only game left in the Class 6 District 2 in terms of determining next week's matchups. And it looks like it's going to go right down to the final second, Tom Eichwald.
It does. And
here's a little pooch kick, and it lands right behind the Hazelwood Central receiver, and the ball is bouncing free, but the Hawks recover. Wow, what a smart play there by Otto Etzel, looping a kick over number 25 for Hazelwood Central. That's Austin Richards. They all raced back to try to recover it, and they fell on it first down.
And it was a nice job. I couldn't tell. Was that Merrill Baptiste, maybe, who came down with that one? Anyway, 25 was backpedaling, and it was a nice job by Baptiste, if that was him, of pouncing on the ball. He had to come up for that. You're not used to running forward that early on a kick, so nice job to pounce on that ball. Could have been CBC's ball quite easily on that one.
You're watching the Cadet Student Network. Tom Eichwald's alongside. I'm Randy Molman. It is a 19-17 game. The Cadets lead with 11:56 to play. Triplett brings out his offense. 3 wide receivers. Raphael Bell lined up to Triplett's left in the backfield. Quarterback draw or on the
Boy, that had to be a tackle there.
On the read option, if CBC doesn't make that tackle there, Triplett's gone.
Had to be a tackle there. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
Brent Bledsoe got a shoulder in. I was about to accuse him of not wrapping up on Triplett, but he did just enough.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 36. Big gain there by Triplett on first down. He takes a snap, hands it to Bell. Bell feeling his way, bounces it to the outside. He'll pick up about 4 to the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6.
And Benji Gormley just showing some strength there to hold on for dear life until he could get some help from Brandon Zamuda, and help was quick in coming.
2nd down, 6 now, ball on the 40. Hazelwood Central going from your right to your left. Trailing by 2. Triplett out of the shotgun. Read option again, keeps it himself, following a blocker. He's wrapped up there. Luke Carey in on the stop for CBC. That'll make it 3rd and about 3, maybe 2.
Great block on the near side from Jordan Carey. Looked like he just absolutely mauled Von Burks. It was a wonderful block over here on the near side, but that's why you support him. So even though Von Burks was taken out of the play, Luke Carey did a wonderful job of coming over and covering for him.
3rd down and 3 for Hazelwood Central. CBC leads by 2. 4th quarter action here on the Cadet Student Network. Winner takes on Blue Springs in the state semifinals. Triplett out of the shotgun, takes the snap, keeps it himself. He's got a 1st down and more. Across midfield to the CBC 49, and he keeps the chains moving for Hazelwood Central. Right now, the Hawks are doing what we talked about coming back from halftime, Tom, and that is pounding the ball up the middle straight at the CBC defense, taking speed out of the equation.
And they're not getting the big gains that they had in the first half, so there's improvement from CBC, but at this point, you don't need huge gains. They'll take these 5-6-yard runs up the middle all day long if they can, because in a close game, you don't want to give CBC more time on the ball.
Timeout called, and that CBC defense is getting an earful from Coach Dimovitz right now. It'll be 1st and 10 when we come back from this break. Hazelwood Central, 10:26 to play, trailing by 2.
Cadet fans, our Cadet Student Network crew works incredibly hard to bring you coverage here on CSN. We'd like to say thanks to Chick-fil-A for making those fantastic chicken sandwiches that give our students the energy they need to make these broadcasts happen.
I can't thank Chick-fil-A enough for being in my life, Tom. I love that Chick-fil-A.
Any of our guys, including Randy and myself, will tell you that Chick-fil-A is their favorite pregame meal, and it should be your pregame meal too. Stop and grab a sandwich, salad, or wrap at any Chick-fil-A location around St. Louis. Our personal favorite is on Manchester, just east of Ballas. You want to stop in for a bite, tell them CSN sent you. And who knows, if you go there on your way from Hazelwood Central to CBC for the soccer game tonight, you might just see me in the drive-through.
There you go. All right, we're back to action. The ball is spotted at midfield. It says 49 on the scoreboard, but it is spotted there at midfield. Hazelwood Central.
They want the offside there. Nobody did jump in the neutral zone at all.
No one jumped in the neutral zone.
We got a great view on this one.
We really do. Triplett takes the snap. Hands it to Bell. Bell gets maybe 3 there. Right over the right side. Hazelwood Central is really sticking to their script. They came in and they knew they could exploit the middle of that CBC defense. They've done a good job with it. Now, CBC's done a much better job in the second half, eliminating big runs, but Hazelwood Central is still attacking that middle. Triplett, 2nd and 8, takes the snap. Stands at his 45. He's going to fire deep. He's got a man open. It's Cradith, and he overthrows him. Cradith got behind Cameron Brown, and the CBC faithful holding their hearts on that play.
And I was about to talk about the gamble that Hazelwood Central is taking in trying to have these short runs up the middle to keep the clock moving. But then they do that. The strategy, folks, is not to keep the clock moving. They are not running it to run down the clock and to leave CBC less time. Again, they're trailing by 2. They're not trying to take time and maybe get some cheap points. What they're trying to do is soften CBC up in the middle, bring them up to reinforce, and then hit them on the back. So it's not a time factor that you're looking at with this running strategy.
There's a fake and a screen pass to the tight end, Kirk. He breaks a tackle. Inside the 40, inside the 30, inside the 25. Lowers his shoulder and runs over Bledsoe. Big gain by Hazelwood Central. Fantastic play call. Kirk is the one who's a little dinged up after that play as he goes to the sideline. He may have hurt his shoulder.
I would not have expected that collision to turn out that way. Kirk's got to have at least 30 pounds on Brent Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Nice job by Bledsoe to knock him out of bounds.
Really good play call there as they misdirection, fake handoff, and then they throw the tight end screen back the other way. This is Bell. Good tackle right in the middle of that defense by Percy Brown again. Number 97.
I'd say he's okay.
He was okay on that one. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Hawks trail CBC 19-17. 9:25 and counting. Out of the shotgun snap, it's Triplett. 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen. He fakes it to Bell, keeps it himself on the read option, and he's going to go, and he's tripped up. Wow. Touchdown saving tackle by Douglas because he was gone at that point.
Douglas was lined up against the wideout. On that case, it was James Whitfield Jr. So Douglas is lined up on the wideout, cuts inside, passes at least 2 people on the way in just enough time to get that hand on him. So great alert and aware football playing by Brandon Douglas there.
Absolutely. 1st and goal, Hazelwood Central at the 8. Triplett hands it to Bell. Bell looking for room. It's clogged up in the middle. He gets ball pops free. The ball pops free. Right at the end of that play, who's got it?
Nope, 2nd down.
Hazelwood Central recovers. Smart play. Looked like number 19 jumped on the ball. That is Darius Watson, the backup tight end. It's amazing how when the backup comes in, the ball finds him. He jumped on that football quickly.
Nice job by Watson.
Cradith at the bottom of your screen being covered by Cam Brown one-on-one. Stacked 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Triplett running right, nowhere to go. Fighting off the tackle, Benji Gormley. He was in on the stop. That makes it 3rd and goal for CBC. Or for Hazelwood Central, excuse me.
Wishful thinking, perhaps, Randy.
Wishful thinking.
This is posed for a wonderful 4th quarter here. I think we're in for a treat. If you're a neutral watching this game, obviously, there's a lot of enjoyment just watching any close game. If you're Hazelwood Central, you like your chances. You've got the game poised exactly where you want it. Close game. You got the ball in scoring position here.
Triplett keeps it himself, and he dances in. He broke a tackle in the backfield. Darren Bennett tried to bring him down, couldn't do so. Triplett escapes. Touchdown, Hawks.
And Triplett looks like he's hobbling a little bit. He almost looks like the right hamstring maybe is he's favoring, or maybe the ankle, not sure. Well, he is not 100% making his way back to the bench.
He definitely had to pull his leg out of that tackle to escape and get into the end zone.
But to finish the point, I was about to say that Hazelwood Central has the game poised where they want it. All the more so now. I think CBC's second half, not many teams have been able to hang with CBC in the second half. If you're Central, you love the position you are in right now with a potentially 5-point lead.
The
no
extra
good.
point
So a 4-point
no
lead
good.
in the fourth quarter.
Jeremy Crawford misses the extra point wide right. And so now with 7:46 remaining, the 11-0 Hazelwood Central Hawks 23, the 10-1 CBC Cadets 19. And the Cadets about to receive the kickoff. Put your seatbelts on. This is going to be a fantastic end to a fantastic game and season so far. CBC and Hazelwood Central have met the last 3 years in the district title. The home team has emerged the victor in each of the three. We'll see if that holds true today. On to kickoff now for Hazelwood Central is Jeremy Crawford.
Now, if I were a betting man, I would wager that this kickoff will be slightly less eventful than the last one we had.
You know what? I don't know that I would wager that. It might be just as eventful. Neither kicker has really been able to kick the ball deep effectively, and so they've driven, there's been some pooch kicks, a couple onside kicks, trying to make the other team make a mistake. Crawford to kick. Line drive kick. Trey Haynes is down at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, lost his footing.
That's a tough one. That's a sinking line drive kick and a very tough catch. And Haynes made the catch, but he went down to do it.
Well, you'd rather have the catch than the catch and a fall with no return than no catch.
Or do you step aside and let it go out of the end zone?
When it's that low, you would think, but once he committed himself, he absolutely has to catch it. And he did. Good focus by Trey to be able to pull that in. You almost have to separate your upper body from your lower body and be able to forget about the footing, just use your upper body, control that ball, stay on top of it.
So CBC will have it first down and 10 at the 10. They are trailing 23-19. The Cadets, it has been a rarity to be trailing in the fourth quarter these last few years. Gabbert takes a snap, fakes, pumps to one side, looking, no one open. No one open, Gabbert tucks it and run. Now he's going to fake it, and he gets out of bounds.
Look at the pass protection he had there.
Great protection again, and once again, handed to that Hazelwood Central defensive backfield, covering CBC's receivers.
It really is. We said at the top of the broadcast that it's very hard to cover CBC's receivers for the amount of time that this offensive line is giving them. But I almost have to take those words back. I would say Hazelwood Central has been excellent in covering these receivers for 3-4 seconds at a time. Now, is there a guy on CBC's sideline they wouldn't be able to cover for 4 seconds? Just
into the
leaving
flat.
That out there.
Antoine Higgins, he's got room, and he gets close to the first down. It'll be third and short. He made the first man miss, and I thought maybe thered be a penalty flag on that block, but there was not.
Yeah, Higgins has some speed. You can see anytime he gets the ball, he is looking for that sideline. It's a lifeline for him. If he can get to that sideline, then he can really go. Too many men on the field here for Hazelwood Central.
There's the penalty flag, and CBC will get the first down, but it'll be a flag against the Hawks.
Yep, Brendan Dean not able to make it off the field in time.
7:25 and counting here in the fourth quarter. What a game we've had so far. 23-19, back and forth all afternoon. We have an injury on the field. Looks like a CBC player is down.
Yeah, I can't see a number on the player down.
Might be Higgins.
It is. It is Antoine Higgins. Good eyes, Randy. But he does appear to be okay. Training staff helps him up. He's making his way off the field. That's good to see.
That's Tom Eichwald. I'm Randy Moman. You're watching CBC Football on the Cadet Student Network. Stick with the Cadet Student Network all day. Soccer coming up. Quarterfinals, correct?
It
CBC
is.
hosting SLU.
And there have been some great state quarterfinal games between CBC and SLU. I still remember the first year in the new stadium, my freshman year at CBC, a CBC SLU game, scoreless. Went to what was then 4 10-minute overtime periods, still scoreless.
Wow.
We lost on PKs, but to this day, one of the best soccer games I've ever seen played, especially at the high school level. So it's always a good matchup. Come on out and watch it, or join us here on CSN at 6 p.m. It's at CBC or here on CBC CSN.
Gabbert rolls right, throws the cross the other way. He's got Cameron Brown. Brown is going to take it to the house. Touchdown!
That is huge.
CBC 77 yards. Wow.
You said earlier in the game, we talked about in the first half, all those missed. We have a flag?
Looks like we have a penalty flag on the far side, and that is going to be a killer.
It must have already been. Oh, there it is. Okay. It is around the line of scrimmage, and that doesn't tell you anything good if you're a CBC fan. Oh, no, it's pass interference on the defense. So that penalty is declined. It will be a touchdown. I was about to say, in the first half, we talked about those long throws being just a bit off, looking for Cam Brown. It's almost like he was throwing to Cam Babb instead of to Cam Brown. That's who the deep threat has been for most of the season. And it took them 3 tries. They missed in the first half. Finally, they get one in the second half. A little bit into the wind, just throw it a little bit harder, and the ball just kind of almost comes back to the wide receiver when it gets held up. What a wonderful throw, wonderful catch, and once he's got the ball in that area, goodbye.
Rolling right, Brett Gabbert kind of forced the defense to move in his direction, then came back across the field. Cameron Brown streaking free, and a huge touchdown. The extra point here by Otto Etzel is good. And that is huge because that means it's a 26-23 lead, and Hazelwood Central's extra point that they just missed now looms large because it's a 3-point lead. 26-23 CBC. Tom Eichwald mentioned a few minutes ago this is setting up to be a brilliant fourth quarter. He isn't lying. So far, so good. Living up to the hype. Hazelwood Central scores, takes the lead. CBC with a big play. They now take the lead. And they will kick it back to the Hawks.
This is one of those games where I think the only people in this stadium that aren't nervous right now are the players. They're out there doing something. They're doing their jobs. They're doing exactly what they've practiced all year for many of these guys, 4 years of high school plus grade school. It's everybody else just watching, not able to really impact much. You see a lot of fidgeting on the sidelines, on the stands for both sides. A lot more people standing up than were standing a minute ago. People can't quite sit still for this one. This is what you want. If you're going to go deep in the playoffs, you're going to have dealt with adversity. That's one of the weaknesses, if there has been one, of CBC teams over the last few years. They've been running away with so many games. They haven't been kind of down in the muck, mixing it up in a close game. And here we have that, and CBC needs to hold on here. If you're Hazelwood Central, you've had them for 80% of this game under control. You just have to keep it going. So the players are out there doing their thing, but everybody watching, there's a lot of nerves in the stadium.
26-23 Cadets. Etzel with a big leg, and that'll fly out of the end zone. First time that's happened today. Over Duval's head, and Hazelwood Central will start at the 20. First down and 10, now trying to answer CBC. We welcome those of you from Blue Springs who might be watching here on the Cadet Student Network. I know you're interested in this outcome because you play the winner. And the winner of that game will play the winner of Kirkwood and Rockhurst. Those are the final 3. Blue Springs, Kirkwood, Rockhurst, and the winner today will be the 4th in the final 4 of the Class 6 District 2 final. Or in the Class 6 final, excuse me, Class 6. 7:08 to play, Triplet out of the shotgun.
Final 4, Class 6, 7:08 to play. A lot of numbers going on.
So many numbers. First and 10 on the 20. Triplet wears number 10. He's going to go deep down the left sideline, looking for Craddock. It's overthrown. Cameron Brown step for step with Dallas Craddock. Craddock is their big play receiver, averaging 36 yards per catch this year.
It's a fun matchup. I mean, you just look at the amount of athleticism within a couple square feet of turf. You've got Cameron Brown, who obviously is just a phenomenal athlete, wide receiver. Craddock, who's got the wide receiver. He's got the kick returner. He's got everything. Just two guys, just top athletes duking it out. 95% of us watching this game, 99% of us watching this game will never know what it's like to be in a battle like that just because we can't.
There's the snap to Triplet. He fakes it, keeps it himself on the read option, looking for room. He's not going to get anywhere. CBC, Gavon Burks comes up to make a play, as did number 8. Looks like no, that's MJ Anderson, number 9 at the bottom of that pile. So it's 3rd down and 11 for Hazelwood Central with under 7 to play. They trail CBC 26-23. The thing you mentioned earlier about the Cadets not being in close matchups, that's why Coach Pingle scheduled games against East St. Louis, against Rockhurst, against Jeff City. All 3 games were close, and that has them tested. Triplet incomplete, intended for Sullivan.
And I was about to say, you're absolutely right. The scheduling this year, I think, has been a real statement of intent from the CBC coaching staff. They're playing a conference schedule, but you haven't lost a conference game in quite a while, really since fall of 2012, if I remember correctly. So you need to go elsewhere for these games, and to bring in the likes of East St. Louis and Jeff City. What fun nights those were of football. This CBC team is better prepared to be in this situation right now than I think we've seen one in a while.
CBC might be bringing the house here. No, they're not. But you wonder why they have no one deep. I guess they're going to make sure Trey Haynes stays on the sideline. The ball will drop at the 35. And really, not Trey Haynes. I don't mean to single him out. But at this point in the game, with CBC up 3 points, you just don't want any mistakes in the return game.
And the odds
You've
are...
You've got great field position because the punt's down in their own territory. There's no reason to make a mistake. Just let it fly, and then we'll get the ball with no danger.
Well, and you talk about the footing on the real grass versus artificial turf. That artificial turf with the rubber in it, that ball almost ricochets off of it. So that punt is a lot more dangerous on turf as far as rolling down to CBC territory. It's not going to bounce that far. You're not going to have a ball bounce from the 40 to the goal line generally on this sort of surface. So you don't have to worry about being pinned back if you don't have a return man.
So first down and 10, CBC, 6:14 to play. Looking for a good long drive here. Caleb Allen will get it first. He runs up the middle, and he'll gain maybe 3 before Hazelwood Central closes it off.
And it's a luxury CBC hasn't had for much of this game, being able to just run it up the middle and hopefully eat away at this clock.
In case you're just joining us, Cam Babb dressed out, but he has not played a snap here today. That ankle still not quite 100%. Should CBC win, I would anticipate we'll see Babb down the road.
And in talking to the coaches this week, this, I believe, is the last game he's anticipated to miss.
Gabbert fakes, keeps it himself. He's going to run over the right side. He's got nowhere to go. Breaks a tackle, looking for room, dives forward. Hazelwood Central smelled that play from the get-go. Good play by that defense. It's now 3rd down and 7. They're going to mark it as a yard loss, so it'll be 3rd and 8 for the Cadets.
Yeah, that play kind of broke down a little bit. Again, impressive protection in the pocket. It's only when Gabbert's outside the pocket that he's really in danger of taking too many hits.
Gabbert looking, fires. He's got Cam Brown right in his hands, and he dropped it. So it'll be 4th down and 8 for CBC, and they'll be forced to punt.
That's a big drop from Cam Brown. You don't like to say that. Of course, it's an individual mistake, but that's a big mistake for Cam Brown. The difference is you're giving Hazelwood Central decent field position, we would expect, in 5 minutes versus a first down, the opportunity to keep running the ball and eating away at this clock, as well as eat away at Hazelwood Central's eventual field position. That's a big opportunity missed for the Cadets.
5:01 to play. Craddock stands at his own 28. Simpson will punt. Snap is good. He rolls right. Rugby-style punt is not good. Shanked it. Goes out of bounds. I don't know if that might not have even gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they mark it. That is, in effect, about a 10-yard punt, and Hazelwood Central will start at the 48.
And it makes the Cam Brown drop look a little worse, doesn't it?
That is tough.
It's what you call compounding your mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, but where you start shooting yourself in the foot is when you compound them. When you make a mistake and then you make another one on top of it. That's, anybody in any branch of athletics, really any branch of life, you've got to minimize mistakes. You've got to compose yourself after mistakes. So a punt like that after a drop like that, all of a sudden, this is a very different game than I would have said it would be about 4 seconds ago.
26-23 the score, 4:56 to play. Hazelwood Central starts in CBC territory at the Cadet 48-yard line. Triplett out of the shotgun. Hands it to Bell. Bell looking over the right side, looking for room. He's got room. That's one of the first outside runs. It's been a good one for Hazelwood Central all day. Inside the 20, inside the 15. He may go. Touchdown, Hazelwood Central. Are you kidding me? Raphael Bell, 48 yards. And by the way, after he got past the first level, that was all Raphael Bell.
Remember when I said this is a different game than I thought it would be about 4 seconds ago? Well, total elapse from that drop to this point, has been no more than 15 seconds of game time. And you go from a potential first down to CBC to a touchdown on a phenomenal run by Bell. You got to say you'd like somebody in a white jersey to bring him down. You got to imagine somebody could have tackled him at some point there. He ended up with almost CBC's entire defense on his right-hand side chasing him around. And just like that, you're back down again. Man, that's a frustrating one if you're the Cadets. You got to give full credit to Bell. What was one of the best runs you're going to see in any football game you watch this year.
You're probably seeing the replay now on the Cadet Student Network, and Raphael Bell just broke off an amazing 48-yard run. By the way, it came on the heels, as Tom Eichwald mentioned, a dropped first down pass by CBC and then a shanked punt that only traveled 10 yards. Hazelwood Central responds. And in any big game against any good team, you cannot give them opportunities. And that's what CBC did right there. Gave Hazelwood Central an opportunity. The Hawks took advantage of it. It's 30-26. Hazelwood Central with 4:43 to play. Trey Haynes back deep. Douglas back deep also for CBC. The Cadets, what a fourth quarter we've seen. Tom Eichwald called it as we switched from the third to the fourth quarter. CBC and Hazelwood Central back and forth. This is a heavyweight fight right here. That ball bounces to Haynes. He'll receive it at the 4. Comes up the sidelines and ducks out of bounds at the 19. So CBC starts first down and 10.
How do you compose yourself if you're CBC's offense right now? I mean, your eyes have to be a little bit big. Seems like you were just on the field, and the game you were playing, again, 30 seconds ago is not the game you're in now. So this is a major mental test for CBC. It's a test of their experience, which, to be honest, they're a very young team. So how does a young team respond after getting hit in the mouth like that? I think we're going to learn a lot about this group of young men in the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and I think on this drive.
And the good news is they've been through it before. Jeff City, they went back and forth on the road at Jeff City to pull out a huge win. They also went back and forth and toe-to-toe with East St. Louis. That pass is incomplete. They were looking for Ty Walton. Good coverage on the play. But they went toe-to-toe with one of the state of Illinois' best teams, East St. Louis, and Rockhurst, one of the best defenses in the Kansas City area, held CBC to 10 points. They won that close game. CBC's been here. Let's see if they can maintain composure. There's plenty of time left. 4:35, 2nd and 10. Gabbert takes the snap. He's got plenty of time. Looks, fires over the middle, and it's dropped again. Cameron Brown drops it right in his hands.
And that's another frustrating one. In the first half, it came down to CBC missing tackles. The lack of execution was on the defensive side. Unfortunately, we're starting to see in this fourth quarter, starting to be a lack of execution on the offensive side. And you said we've been there before. At the risk of playing devil's advocate, you've been there before when you've had a Monday practice to work through this. Not when there is no Monday practice if you lose. So I think for CBC, 3rd and 10, this is absolutely vital.
3rd down and 10 at the 20. Gabbert. Looks like Hazelwood Central's coming. They are on the blitz. Gabbert now ducks out of it. He gets to the outside. He's looking for room, and he gets out of bounds. He's shy of the first. It'll be 4th and 4 as he ducks out at the 26-yard line.
I think at 4 minutes and 24 seconds to go, dangerous territory to start thinking about going for it. They're still out there.
I don't see Simpson coming on the field.
If you don't get it here, 4th and 4, if you do not get it here, good chance Hazelwood Central puts points on the board.
And a Hazelwood Central defensive end jumps off sides.
Oh, and you can see what it means to him.
Down and 4. You have got to be kidding me.
That is number 50, I thought,
wasn't it? 60, Elgin Crawford jumped on 4th and 4. Oh, my goodness. I feel terrible for that young man, but it is a first down for CBC. Wow.
Now, I wonder if that was the play. I wonder if they were just going to line up and try to draw him offside. They had plenty of time on the play clock. Were they actually going to bring out Austin Simpson if that didn't work?
Wow, wow, wow.
That's a gift.
First down and 10 on the 31. Gabbert takes the snap. Looks. He's going to go deep down the right side. He's got Josh Wallace. Oh, and it was broken up What a battle for that ball. Tayon Holt and Josh Wallace going up.
A little bit of contact. Josh Wallace did have both arms out. I was worried for a second he might get called for the push-off, but it is an incomplete pass. And we talked about CBC giving a lot of gifts today. We talked about Christmas coming up. CBC got one there with that offsides. And as with any gift, got to use it.
You got to take advantage of it here. 4:17 to play. With every play on the field, the crowd is going crazy, up and down, cheering. Here's Gabbert. Here's a rush up the middle. Good block by Allen, and Gabbert's going to go down. No one was open downfield. And again, give credit to the Hazelwood Central defensive backs. They've been brilliant all day.
And this will bring up about a 3rd and 13 with under 4 minutes to go, clock running.
3rd and 13 for CBC. They trail 30-26. 3:50 and counting. Season on the line for both teams. Gabbert looking for the play now from the sideline. He's going to make an adjustment.
Gets harder to make the adjustments with the noise that I'm sure you're hearing in your microphone. We're just behind the Hazelwood Central fans. They're going nuts. They sense what's about to happen here.
Gabbert has time. Fires over the middle. Benji
Gormley catches
with the catch. He juggled it, and he had to squeeze it. But, of course, he does. Benji Gormley to the 45 on 3rd and 12. How huge is that?
Are there still things we haven't said about Benji Gormley? I don't know. That's going to be the biggest catch of his CBC career, I've got to imagine. And that's – you needed that. It instills some calm. Hear how quiet this near sideline is now because of that catch.
Gabbert fires to the side, looking for Brown. It's caught. Gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and short.
And this is where Brown's had some mistakes, but that Gormley catch settles everybody down. The CBC sideline is a lot less antsy. The crowd on the near side is a lot quieter. And it takes the pressure off. When you've got a player you can look to like that in Benji Gormley, it makes the game easier for everybody else. That's why he's the glue.
2nd down and 2. Ball at the 47-yard line. Gabbert hands it to Allen looking for room. Trying to stretch it out. He can't. No room there. Good play by Hazelwood Central.
There's a flag down there. That might be
a face mask call against Hazelwood Central.
Either that or throwing him down once he was out of bounds. Either way, it doesn't look good for the Hawks right now with that flag. Stadium goes absolutely quiet while it's discussed.
This is what you hope for a district championship game, folks.
And it appears we have an injury as well. There's players in the way. We can't quite see what's going on.
There's a Hawk player down on the field.
Not sure who it is. It is a Hazelwood Central player, and the medical staff is out there. We can't see a number on that.
Personal foul on Hazelwood Central.
Yeah, so
tack on 15.
It must have been, as Caleb Allen went out of bounds, there must have been a little extra oomph put into the tackle once the line was crossed.
3:07 to play. We're getting to the point now where a field goal and hoping to get the ball back is not going to be what CBC is after. They are going to have to score a touchdown. They're down 4. If you missed it, they've missed 2 extra points today, and that looms large right now. They went for a 2-point conversion, didn't convert, and they missed an extra point. It was blocked by Hazelwood Central. The score would be 30-28 right now with CBC marching. However, it isn't, and the Cadets need a touchdown after the penalty, all the way down to the Hazelwood Central 32. 3:07 to play. The Cadets trying to seal this game, take the lead and hold on.
One of the top offenses in the state against one of the top defenses in the state. The game should come down to a situation like this.
Absolutely. This is right off the top, Tom and I mentioned, it's the CBC offense versus the Hazelwood Central defense. How is that going to shake out? Here's Gormley. He's out of bounds as he caught one out in the flat. So it'll be 2nd down now and about 5.
And again, speaking in game time here, 1 minute ago, the stadium on this near side was just rocking.
Everybody is standing, by the way. The CBC side over there, they're standing. The Hazelwood Central fans over here are standing. It's a standing room only crowd here at Hazelwood Central. Gabbert looking. He's going to have to now roll right. Looking, and he fires to the sideline. He's got Ty Walton, breaks the tackle, spin move. Down close to the 20. Wow, that's going to be close to a 1st down. What a play by Ty Walton.
Now, one thing that, yes, the coverage for Hazelwood Central has been excellent. Some of the wide receivers, though, on the roll, a lot of the wide receivers were stationary. Tyler Walton was really the only one moving around trying to find the ball. And you'd like to see a little bit more motion, but glad Gabbert was able to connect with the guy who was moving.
There was a penalty flag. That's going to go against CBC, it looks like. That's a killer. Holding on the Cadets. That is a killer.
It's going to make it a pretty long second down, isn't it?
So back to the 44-yard line. I'm surprised there haven't been more holding calls as long as Gabbert has been given to operate in the pocket with that offensive line doing such a great job. 2nd and 22. Ball's on the 44. The Hazelwood Central faithful get to their feet. They are excited. Gabbert, quick pass to Caleb Allen looking for a block. Allen looking down the sidelines. He doesn't get much. Maybe a yard. 3rd and long for CBC.
Clock's still running, 2 minutes and 35 seconds and counting.
This is 4-down territory, folks. We're under 2:30 to play. And the CBC Cadets are driving, trailing by 4, 3rd and 21. All you have to do is get maybe 10 to 15 here. Look for a play down the middle of the field. That has worked on these situations.
And it's 4-down territory, whatever happens here.
Absolutely. There it is, down the middle, Gormley, and he is hit hard. His helmet pops off, but there's a penalty flag on the opposite side of the field. Where is that flag?
Gormley very slow getting up. He appears to be okay. He's going to make his way off the field. He got rocked.
The flag was thrown nowhere near where the pass was thrown, and it was at the top of your screen, far side, in the secondary. Let's see what this call is. This is a huge penalty call. Defensive holding on Hazelwood Central.
Way off the ball.
Oh, my goodness. You talk about earlier on 4th and 4, they had a defensive lineman jump off sides to give CBC a first down to extend this drive. Now on 3rd and 21, a holding call makes it 3rd and 10, much more manageable in 2-down territory for CBC.
Clock at 2 minutes and 10 seconds here. And this time CBC on the receiving end again of a good call. And they're going to tell Benji Gormley he's got to leave the field. The helmet popped off.
Came off. Right. So Benji Gormley will have to sit out a play. His helmet popped off on that last play. That's a rule.
And it's DJ Jones coming on.
Here we go. 3rd down and 10 at the 32. This is 2-down territory for CBC. The public address announcer cheering the Hazelwood Central fans, telling them to get loud. Never heard that before. Incomplete, 4th down and 10 at the 32. Now what? This is the ball game. This is the season. 2:05 to play. 30-26, Hazelwood Central.
There's nothing you can say at this point, folks. Just enjoy this. This is high school football at its best right here. Clutch situation, season on the line, 4th down, 2 minutes. Here it is.
Ty Walton with an acrobatic catch down the middle.
And that,
1st and 10, CBC at the 11.
And that one goes to Caleb Allen, who's hung back, saw the rush. They brought 2 men from the blind side. One of them was picked up right away. Another was free. Caleb Allen made an adjustment, picked him up, and allowed Tyler Gabbert to complete a laser to Ty Walton.
2nd down. Oh, no. Gabbert goes down.
And that's Brett Gabbert, by the way.
Brett Gabbert goes down. Big rush by Hazelwood Central. They brought the blitz that time. Number 6, Jordan Pruitt, the free safety. And it'll be 2nd and long back at the 24.
Clock's still running, 1:35.
2nd and 22. Ball on the 24-yard line. Gabbert looking, plenty of time. Fires over the middle. He's got Gormley, and another penalty flag in the secondary.
Now, we said coming into this game, Randy, that coming in, CBC just needs to focus on doing their jobs. And yet here we are in the 4th quarter, you know, if you're a CBC fan, hoping for flags to be going your direction. It hasn't really gone according to plan for CBC. You're still in the game, but it comes down to execution at a crucial moment.
Benji Gormley got popped over the middle.
Second play in a row, he's gotten absolutely leveled.
And that time he looked to be a little woozy. I hope he's okay. Ty Walton actually turned to the sidelines and waved the doctors over. Looks like they're stretching him out, though, so I don't think it's a head injury, which is a good sign. It's a good sign. Might be a cramp down by his calf. That's what they seem to be trying to stretch out.
And that's what you hope.
Oh, my goodness. What a fourth quarter. Tom Eichwald, you should play the lottery. You called this one.
That's
For everyone, Tom, give everyone your lottery
I think the odds of this one, the odds of calling an exciting fourth quarter and the odds of winning the lottery might be a little bit.
All right, if you say so. You don't want to win $200
What's the
million?
word?
Okay.
Maybe a little bit different we'll go with. There's a better word. I'm just a little bit distracted by the situation right now. And this is where it's so hard. I'm a CBC grad. I'm a CBC teacher. I see these kids day in, day out. And when you're in a situation like this, it gets harder to talk. You know, you start. It either gets harder to talk or you can't stop yourself from talking. So I apologize for the.
Over, for sure.
It does, and you know what it means to these guys. You know what it means to all the students who made it up here. You know what it means to the families. You want the buzz at open house to be, the excitement of all this. You have in your head this perfect day where you got football and soccer and everything like that, and it all comes down to these kids executing, and it's why we do it. I mean, this is why you have your sons at practice in the morning or in the evening for all those years.
Here it is, third down. Gabbert fires to the sideline, incomplete.
And under some big pressure there.
Big pressure, and here we go again. Another fourth down. By the way, this is the third fourth down on this drive. The first fourth down, Hazelwood Central jumped off sides, gave CBC a first down. The second fourth down, Ty Walton with a brilliant catch over the middle. Now, oh no, it's third down. It's not fourth yet. The scoreboard had said third down on the previous play, but it was wrong. So it's now 3rd and 12 at the 14. Gabbert keeps it himself, looks for room over the left side. He is going to sneak out of bounds.
Oh, and he gets hit out of bounds. They throw it.
There's the penalty
They throw the flag. Gabbert got hit out of bounds. That is a penalty. That is a personal foul, and that is a fresh set of downs with 1 minute and 7 seconds for the Cadets.
Hazelwood Central self-destructing on defense. That's now the third big penalty on the Hawks on this drive. Wow. Gabbert was certainly out of bounds, well out of bounds. I'm sure you're going to see the replay here on the Cadet Student Network. Watch. He was at least 2 steps out.
And that was right in front of the CBC administration. You got Tim Seymour, Jerry Heat, Jeff Meyer, Jim Brockman. You got Pat Walsh over there. Might have had the athletic director, Rocky Streb, over there. If that flag hadn't been thrown, I think you would have seen some gesticulations from that area of the sideline.
Now, why does it say third down over on that sideline?
Did they pick up the flag? Did they not assess?
No, because it's inside the 5.
So it is a first down.
Yeah, they got to talk this over. Personal foul, that's got to be a first down. Unless
they don't assess.
Unless it's a half the distance to the goal and the ball means it's short of the first down marker.
Okay, so now it's 3rd and 3 on the board. They just changed it.
Right.
So that's what it is. It's half the distance to goal, still third down.
Right, because the ball didn't exceed the first down marker. Was not an automatic first down. So 3rd and goal on the 3. CBC 3 yards away. And Hazelwood Central wants a timeout. Van Veneta, good job there. Wants to settle his defense down. By the way, the winner takes on Blue Springs next week. CBC trailing Hazelwood Central 30-26. On the other side of the bracket, it's Kirkwood versus Rockhurst. CBC trying to be that 4th Final Four team. They're only 3 yards away from doing so. What a game we've had here today. It's been back and forth in this 4th quarter. As soon as CBC throws a punch, Hazelwood Central counters. And now CBC trying to level the final blow with 1 minute 7 to play. 3rd and goal. Check that, 3rd and 3 on the 5-yard line. They can still get a first down.
And for what it's worth, 2 timeouts left for both teams. So whatever happens on this play, there will be 2 timeouts for either team going forward.
3rd and 3 at the 5. Gabbert takes a snap. Now he's coming back the other way to Gormley. Gormley! Touchdown! CBC! 5 yards. Gabbert rolled right, came back to Gormley, and who else but Benji Gormley to catch the touchdown.
When you need something in this game, the two guys that for me have been the MVPs for CBC, Tyler Walton and Benji Gormley. Benji Gormley has made how many key catches? Tyler Walton got things going in the start of the second half, that third quarter. We talked about some of those simple catches and turns that he had, trying to get CBC into a rhythm. He allowed CBC to develop into the game, makes a clutch catch towards the end. When Gormley was off the field, Gormley comes right back on and picks up where he left off. So these two guys for CBC have been huge, and the guy pulling the strings in Gabbert, you can't say enough good things about his composure.
This extra point is monstrous. It's a 2-point lead right now. Snap back, ball down. The kick is up, and it is good. Hazelwood Central can't win the game with a field goal. They can tie it, but they can't win it with a field goal. And CBC leads with 1:01 remaining, 33-30. Oh, my goodness. What a game.
This
is what you want.
Commentary goes out the window here.
It cannot get better, can it?
No. And, again, this is just the start of the day. I've got to go from this to state quarterfinal soccer. I don't know how this is going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know where Tom Eichwald is later today, check your local hospitals. He may need a defibrillator.
Yeah.
Some oxygen.
You know, that first shot that gets fired over the bar in the first 20 minutes of the soccer game might do the trick. I don't know.
Go.
Mike might just go silent.
Tom pulling double duty today. He's on the broadcast here on the Cadet Student Network for CBC Football District Championship game, and he'll be on the call for CBC Soccer, the quarterfinals versus St. Louis U High. Kickoff at 6 p.m.
That one is at CBC. You want to come out and watch it?
Get yourself a TJ's Pizza, slice of TJ's Pizza.
At the concession stand, have your earbuds in, listening to the CSN broadcast. You get the best of all worlds.
Absolutely.
But back to football.
Back to football now for at least 1:01.
I have a feeling it's going to take longer than that.
I feel like it will as well. Etzel.
That's another prediction. I'm going to go with that.
Man, you're on fire today.
I am.
Etzel. Big kick is going to sail into the end zone. Hazelwood Central starts at the 20. Big kickoff there. You don't want a big return. Otto Etzel's leg is such a weapon, especially at moments like this when you don't want a big return. And he can just kick it out of the end zone for you. And Hazelwood Central now will start at the 20. They have 1:01. 61 seconds. They have to go 80 yards or at least close enough to tie the game with a field goal.
Now, again, the last half-ending drive we saw from Hazelwood Central resulted or was aided by a lot of penalties from CBC. Composure, we saw it, lack of composure from CBC in the first half. We saw it here in the fourth quarter from Hazelwood Central with the offsides and the personal fouls. If you're CBC, you cannot have a penalty here. I think if CBC can hold them with no penalties, barring some big play, I think you like where you stand.
Hazelwood Central has it. 1st down and 10 at the 20.
Just looking down, a very interested spectator, one Corey Bethany. Down there, former offensive coordinator for CBC, now the head coach of St. Mary's.
Oh, yeah.
Taking in the game. Nice to see Corey.
See him down there. He used to be on the
basketball broadcast. We've both done broadcasts with Corey.
Love that Corey Bethany. He's such a great guy.
He is. Wish him well over at St. Mary's.
Absolutely. He also coaches the indoor River City Raiders professional football team over in St. Charles at the Family Arena. Corey Bethany, a busy, busy man.
That he is. But who wouldn't want to take time out of a busy schedule for this, right?
Absolutely. This is the game to come to right here. 1:04. They put 3 seconds back on the clock. So 1:04 to play. Here we go. And a false start. Left tackle for Hazelwood Central moves before the snap.
And nice job by Brandon Zamuda of running about 7 or 8 yards, pointing at the guy who jumped. Making sure the officials saw it.
Robert Greco, the left tackle, he moves. It'll be now 1st and 15.
It's already a tough challenge if you're Hazelwood Central. You don't need to make it any tougher.
1st and 15 at the 15, 1:04 remaining. Hazelwood Central trails 33-30. They're trying to win it here against CBC. Triplett fires over to the side, incomplete, intended for Sullivan. Ball was thrown low.
A name we haven't said much of. CBC's done a nice job of stifling Sullivan Jr. here in this second half. he hasn't had near the impact he had. He had free reign in that first half.
Second down, 15, ball at the 15. Hazelwood Central going from your right to your left. They trail by 3. This quarter has been fantastic. If you're watching the game now, this game will be up later on the Cadet Student Network. You're going to have to watch it again. Unbelievable. Over the middle, Dallas Craddock has room across the 30 to the 34. CBC playing a little softer on defense. They don't want to get beat deep, but that allows for the underneath throws. Hazelwood Central takes it. That's a 19-yard pickup and a first down.
And as designated clock watcher here, 54 seconds. They stopped the clock while they moved the chains. No timeout taken, still 2 to go for Hazelwood Central.
Craddock drops it. Pass was a little low, but it was catchable. And Craddock dropped it, stops the clock at 48 seconds, second and 10.
Craddock forced to try to make a catch under immense pressure from Benji Gormley.
Benji Gormley, the star of the show today. Second down and 10. Ball's at the 34. We have 48 seconds remaining. CBC holds on. They'll play Blue Springs next week. If Hazelwood Central miraculously wins at the end, they'll play Blue Springs. What a game we've had. Triplett looks, has all day. Rolls left, looking downfield. There's no one open, and he'll run it. Gets out of bounds. He'll tuck it, doesn't want to throw it away. Gives CBC's defensive backs credit. Great coverage down the field.
And also give credit for blocking Brandon Zamuda. That was a wonderful block, allowed Triplett to escape.
Not barring anything. This is 2 down territory. It's 3rd and 3. This game's on the line. The season's on the line for Hazelwood Central. 3rd down and 3. Even if they don't pick it up here, they will be going for it on 4th down.
40 seconds.
40 seconds remain. Read option. Triplett has room across midfield. They'll mark it at midfield. Tackled on the play by Gormley. And a first down for the Hawks. 2 timeouts left for both sides. You wonder when Hazelwood Central will use one. It's on the 35.
Just thinking that.
Or it's 35 seconds remaining and counting. Triplett keeps it himself again. He's got room. Down to the CBC 35-yard line.
So they got two timeouts. They're still probably just outside of realistic field goal range. You got a little bit of a tailwind, about 6, 7, maybe 10 more yards, and you're well within field goal range. That ties it up. Again, it will not win it, but it will tie it up. And if you're CBC, you do not want this game going to overtime.
You've watched Crawford kick here today. Triplett keeps it again, looking for room, and he's smacked by Luke Carey. Gain of 1.
And Carey and Zamuda both in there.
And a timeout called by Hazelwood Central. They're second. They have 1 remaining. Hazelwood Central realistically needs another, I would say, 15 yards to have a real shot to kick that field goal. Are they in range maybe at 7 to 10 yards? Yes.
For a comfortable attempt.
I
absolutely agree.
I would say at least 15 yards. We've seen Jeremy Crawford kick today. He's got a nice leg, but I don't know if he can make one from 35 or farther. That's going to be tough. I think they have to get down to the 15-yard line to have a reasonable shot.
Clock stopped at 13 seconds, 3-point game. 2nd and 9, ball in the 33, 4th quarter, state quarterfinal. A game against Blue Springs for the right to go to state on the line.
What a fantastic football game here today. Championship game, beautiful weather, packed house, close throughout. Haymakers thrown on both sides here in the 4th quarter. Neither team wants to die. Neither team wants to lose. They keep fighting back. 13 seconds for the Hawks. CBC safeties playing deep, Burks and Bledsoe. They don't want to be beaten deep down the field. It's 2nd and 9, 13 seconds. Triplett looking. He's got no one open. He's going to roll right. He's got room to run, and he's going to take off with it. He is going to be short of the first down.
1 second.
Now the clock runs out.
Do they get the timeout in? They do get the timeout. They are going to give him the timeout. They were able to call a timeout with 1 to go, and they're telling CBC head back to the sideline.
And I agree with you. I think that he did have the time. When he went out of bounds there, it was 1 second remaining. When he got hit, there was 1 second remaining. I think this is the right call to put that second back on the clock and call the timeout. As much as I hate to say it, I think that's the right call.
And a field rushing Justin Williams on crutches makes his way back to the sideline. He was among the first on in the field thinking they'd won it.
Here comes the kicker. Number 38, Jeremy Crawford, is going to attempt the field goal of his life so far.
Yep, another timeout taken by Hazelwood Central here. 1 second on the clock. This is it.
26-yard line. They'll spot it down right at about the 33. This is a 43-yard field goal attempt for Jeremy Crawford. Actually, they're going to mark it at the 34. So this is a 44-yard try.
CBC making as much noise as they can over there on that bench.
This is a pressure kick for a college kicker and a pressure kick for a pro kicker. Imagine you're 18 years old and you are attempting a field goal to extend your season from 44 yards out. Jeremy Crawford. Timeout CBC. They're going to make him think about it.
And I've got to say, whatever happens here, we're going to have to cut any pregame or any postgame conversation short because, of course, we got to haul a lot of broadcast gear back to CBC. But whatever happens in this game, you got to credit Hazelwood Central for the heart they've shown in this game. They have given CBC everything they've got. And if you don't have a couple defensive penalties here in this third quarter, it could be a very, very different situation right now and a very different bus ride back for CBC. Again, not over yet, but you got to really congratulate Hazelwood Central. They've had a phenomenal season, and they have really played a magnificent game today.
Jeremy Crawford from 43. The right-footed kicker wears number 38. He's a senior for the Hawks. It's a long attempt, a really long field goal attempt. Snapback ball down. The kick is up, and it is good!
Oh, my goodness!
Jeremy Crawford nails a 43-yard field goal for Hazelwood Central.
Holy cow!
You've got to be kidding me! This game's going to overtime.
This place is going nuts. He absolutely drilled that ball. That had another 5, 6, 7 yards on it.
Wow! What did I say earlier? That's a pressure kick for any kicker at any level. And that young man, 18 years old, extends Hazelwood Central season, at least for the time being. Wow, what a clutch kick. Unbelievable. But would you expect any less with the way this game has gone so far?
I don't know what to believe anymore, Randy. This has been everything you hope for in a game of any sport, any level. Back and forth, two teams just going at each other.
They're going to put 3 minutes on the clock, and we might want to take a quick commercial break. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we are going to collect ourselves because
let me help you protect what matters most
and prepare for your retirement. Let me help you protect what matters most and prepare for your retirement. I want to help everyone in the CBC family save money and stay protected. I've been in the business for 25 years. My team and I are ready to help you protect your family and save money. You can contact me at 314-842-4442. My email address is tim@timkylo.com, or my website is timkylo.com. Enjoy the rest of the game.
We are back here at Hazelwood Central High School, and we're getting ready to go into overtime for the Class 6 District 2 championship game, CBC and Hazelwood Central. And if you are just tuning in, you've missed one of the best quarters of football on any level that you could ever see. CBC and Hazelwood Central trading punches back and forth. Hazelwood Central leads, then CBC leads, then Hazelwood Central leads. CBC took the lead with 1:04 remaining. Hazelwood Central marched downfield, and their kicker, Jeremy Crawford, drills a 43-yard field goal with no time on the clock to send this to overtime.
He must have heard you talking about his comfortable range. I think he was out to prove a point there, and he did. What a kick that was. I mean, to be able to do that after the timeouts to ice you, and he got great contact on that ball and just let it fly. Now, for overtime, we are being told up here that the ball will be placed at a particular yard line. I've heard, I believe it's the 10 in high school. Somebody said 25, but I believe it's the 10. And then each team will have one set of downs to try to put the ball in. Most points wins. There is no sudden death if you score a touchdown on the first possession type of rule.
What a game here today. Boy, and if you haven't been tuned in all day, you've really missed a good one, but we welcome you now if you're checking out overtime, because CBC and Hazelwood Central are going to overtime, tied 33 all.
And I said my nerves were shot, there in the fourth quarter.
You're going to be.
I don't know how much more I can take.
Are you going to have any emotional feeling left for the soccer game later tonight? You're doing double duty today.
Either none or way too much. I don't know. If you want to find out, it will be entertaining, I'm sure. Tune in.
The soccer game, of course, kicks off at 6 p.m. We will, just so you, if you're watching, Tom mentioned it earlier, my name's Randy Molman, Tom Eichwald alongside Cadet Student Network. We will have no postgame. As soon as this game ends, we'll wrap it up real quickly. The crew and the cameras need to get back to CBC High School to set up for the 6 o'clock quarterfinal game versus St. Louis U High. Tom will bring you the play-by-play of that as well. And so we are sorry for that, but got to get that equipment back, got to get that soccer game ready to roll, because two huge sporting events for CBC High School here today.
It is, and whether this will be remembered as one of the great days in CBC or one of the ones we don't want to think about, it's all in the balance, which is what makes it great either way.
So we go to overtime.
We will be down at this left-hand end zone.
So on the left side of your screen, and it appears as if Hazelwood Central's offense will get first crack. After they're done, then it'll be CBC's turn. And you're correct. They marked it at the 25, not the 10. We thought maybe it was the 10-yard line, but it's the 25.
So
it'll be 1st and 10, Hazelwood Central. They get the ball right, and then whatever happens in their possession, CBC then takes over, and whoever scores the most points on equal possessions ends up winning this game.
So if Hazelwood Central gets a field goal, CBC scores a touchdown, they win. Hazelwood Central scores a touchdown, CBC doesn't. Game over.
Right.
If Hazelwood Central scores a touchdown, CBC does, we keep going.
Or if neither of them score, we keep going. So
now let's talk about momentum for a second. It was a big factor in the first half. In the second half, I think it was almost too frantic to even talk about momentum. There was no time for anything to settle, let alone to have an emotional impact. Do you give Hazelwood Central the advantage in momentum just because of that kick? CBC at one point was on the field thinking they'd won. Here's the snap to Triplett. Takes the option, keeps it himself. He's inside, and he's going to be brought down by Brandon Zamuda.
Triplett with a nice run there, and there's no time on the clock here, only the play clock. So Hazelwood Central has it, 2nd down now. Triplett ran the ball a lot in that fourth quarter. They really wanted to protect the football, run it up the middle, and Triplett, they're going to accomplish it that way. Bell's lined up to his right. 3 wide receivers in the game for Hazelwood Central. Triplett hands it to Bell. Bell looking up the middle, cuts it up. He's down inside the 15, and he gets the 1st down to the 13. So 1st down, Hazelwood Central. The Cadet defense need to get a stop here. If they don't, then they will have to match whatever Hazelwood Central does on this drive. We're in overtime, 33 apiece. Watching on the Cadet Student Network, my name's Randy Molman. Tom Eichwald as well here with me. Boy, what a game we've had. 1st and 10, ball's on the 13. They can get to the 3-yard line for a 1st down. Empty backfield, 4 wide at the top of your screen. Fake, keeps it himself. Triplett's got room. Inside the 5, touchdown, Hazelwood
Wide
Central.
open lane in the middle, wide open lane. And I think the linebackers were assuming we were going to have the run. They went with the backs, and it left a gaping hole. Good read there by Triplett of just keeping it for himself inside.
So on their first drive of overtime, Hazelwood Central punches it in the end zone. And
this means the obvious. Well, if the extra point goes in, then CBC needs 7 points. If the extra point's missed, CBC could potentially win it with a touchdown and an extra point.
Snap back to Crawford. It's a high snap. His kick is up, and it's good.
And he's not going to miss that one.
No.
He hits from 43. Why would he need to miss that one?
40-33, and now CBC will take over. Here in overtime, 1st and 10 at the 25. It's now up to what we said at the top of this show, the top of this broadcast. Tom and I talked about it. The interesting matchup between one of the best defenses in the area, Hazelwood Central, and the best offenses in the area, CBC. And it's coming down to that now here in overtime.
And to think, CBC was on the field celebrating a victory at one point in this game.
Brett Gabbert leads his team on the field. Walton, Brown, Gormley, and Wallace in the game at wide receiver. Caleb Allen, Wallace actually lined up tight on the left side as a tight end. Caleb Allen in the game in the backfield. Gabbert fakes to Allen. He's going to look down the middle of the field. He's got a man. It's incomplete. Intended for Cameron Brown. That ball wasn't close. It was a little too far. Yep. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Cam Brown would have had to start cutting infield maybe about 5 yards sooner to be on that one. Either he's got to be faster or cutting inside more. I think he's got plenty of speed. So good defense, good coverage by Hazelwood Central. But I like the confidence of being able to fling one in there right off the bat. CBC showing no fear right now.
They have to score a touchdown. The field goal's not in play. You're going to have to go for it on 4th down. 2nd and 10 at the 25. Allen takes the handoff. He's got a hole. He squirts through it. Gets maybe 6. They're going to say 5. He's marked down at the 30. 3rd and 5.
Out of habit, I keep looking over at the game clock to see how much time we have.
Right now, the play clock is all that matters. No game clock here in overtime. Hazelwood Central had the ball first. They punched it in for a touchdown rather easily. CBC now trying to answer. Gabbert looks, fires to the sideline, and Brown falling down. They're going to call it a catch.
He kept his feet in.
What a catch. It'll be 4th and inches, though. He's going to be just short.
The chain's right there. We got a timeout. We got a player down.
We got a player down. Looks like a CBC offensive lineman.
Is that number 77, Jeremiah Marlin, perhaps?
I think so. I don't
believe it
see another 77 walking around, so you are correct.
And so as Jeremiah Marlin gets some treatment, we're going to have a 4th and inches, although they're trying to figure it out. Are they going to – that's about as close as it gets.
Yeah, they might have to wait until the injury is Marlin – is to get him off the field.
They're not going to wait for the injury. They bring over the chains.
They're measuring right now. So it's 4th and inches, it looks like. From this angle, yep. It's going to be 4th, and I would say 6 inches.
If.
CBC trails 40-33. We are in overtime. Hazelwood Central started with the ball in overtime from the 25-yard line. They punched it in to take the lead. CBC, it's their turn to answer. And on 4th down and inches, CBC will go for it. Field goal does no good when you're down 7 in overtime.
How big is that field goal?
That was one of the most exciting things, and I know it wasn't for you CBC fans, but that was one of the most exciting things I've seen watching high school sports is you have that kind of pressure from that distance, a high school kicker, and he drills the 43-yard field goal with no time on the clock. That was impressive. CBC needs 6 inches for a 1st down to extend the drive and extend the game. Gabbert takes the snap, hands it to Allen. He's got the first down to the 14. Move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Cadets. They need to get to the 4-yard line for a first down. Gabbert out of the gun, flanked by Antoine Higgins and Caleb Allen. 2 wide receivers in the game. Allen on the misdirection, cuts it back upfield. He gets down to about the 10. They'll mark him at the 11, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
So far, CBC trying to keep up the pace just to make sure this Hazelwood Central defense doesn't get too comfortable. And they want them breathing hard. They want them up against the wall. Any other cliche you want to use?
6'5", Josh Wallace at the top of your screen. Gabbert takes the snap, fakes it, keeps it himself, looking to the right, waiting for a block, and he gets out of bounds. He tried to stretch it out, and they give it to him. Wow, what a play by Gabbert. In midair, reaching across to get extra yardage as he goes out of bounds.
And I thought he was going to roll and try to draw the linebacker, which would mean that Josh Wallace was one-on-one with his man, but instead he keeps.
3rd and 2.
Still looks like Josh Wallace over there on that far side, one-on-one. And with Josh Wallace's height and hands, you got to think that's an option.
Oh, no. That looks like a false start.
The
penalty flag
Hazelwood
on
Central's
the field.
Players are very upset right now. I'm not sure.
Let's see what the call is. False start on CBC on 3rd and 3, and that makes it 3rd down and 8.
Now, I know it's frustrating, but really it just kind of undoes that last little effort by Gabbert. So it's not a deal breaker. It's frustration, yes. Does it change the situation drastically? No. It's basically getting yards back you have no business getting with the athleticism of Gabbert.
And they're going to, obviously, it's 2-down territory, 4-down territory total, but they're going to run 2 more plays and try to pick up 8 yards. Gabbert out of the gun, 3 wide receivers in the game. Takes the snap, looks left, has time, fires it to Walton. He's got it.
Yes!
Touchdown!
Touchdown, Tyler
CBC!
Walton. We talked about the 2 key men for CBC have been Benji Gormley and Tyler Walton with huge catches. None more so than there. I don't know if it's the pink gloves. I don't know if it's the occasion. But Tyler Walton is having the game of his life. Great throw from Gabbert. What a wonderful bit of athleticism from Tyler Walton to bring that down in a situation where he absolutely needed to.
The question is, and I don't know that there's a question. Yeah, there's none. Etzel will come on and kick the extra point.
Don't even think that thought, Randy.
Etzel will kick the extra point now. He had one blocked earlier.
The thought we're not thinking, of course, being do you go for 2 and try to kill the game?
No, Pingle was looking at his playbook over there, and I thought, no way. And sure enough, there was no way. Etzel will attempt the extra point. Dylan Charlton will put it down. Gormley will snap.
Has to go in to continue the game. They've already blocked 1, and Etzel's missed 1.
And a flag again.
What do we have, too many men on the field or
something? Who's this one on? That's thrown from the backside.
Oh, timeout.
Timeout CBC. Interesting, on the extra point.
Was the flag just a ploy to get everybody stopped, or was there actually maybe an infraction that occurred after the timeout signal? Not sure, but
know. This is a must kick for Otto Etzel. It's 40-39, Hazelwood Central. We are in overtime. The winner goes on to play Blue Springs in the Final Four and claim the District 2 championship in Class 6. And we are in overtime. What a football game today. The crowd is on its feet. The Hazelwood Central crowd's on its feet. The CBC crowd's on its feet. Etzel will attempt the extra point here. If it's good, we go to a second overtime. Hazelwood Central fans, as loud as they can, chanting, block that kick.
It's like they're going to overload both sides.
Snap back, ball down. Etzel's kick is up, and it is good. We're going to a second overtime. The game is tied 40-40. What a game. Tom Eichwald is exasperated over
There's
here.
nowhere to pace up here, which is really killing me. I'm used to pacing around in the press box during big games. If I can walk off the energy, it doesn't come through the microphone. But there's nowhere to pace, so
Tom Eichwald,
it's coming straight out the mouth, I think.
Alongside Randy Molman here, CBC and Hazelwood Central on the Cadet Student Network. We're about to go to a second overtime. The score is tied 40-40. Who will get the ball to start? Do they have to do another coin flip? That's the question.
And we talked at the start of the first overtime about the momentum. Is it with Hazelwood Central? They get a easier score than they probably should have if you're from a CBC point of view. But they're still building off the momentum of that kick. CBC is able to weather the storm. Now we settle into a bit more of a, if you can talk about a realistic playoff scenario, overtime scenario, because the initial momentum of that kick is maybe worn off a little bit, and you've weathered the initial storm. So now it settles into a football game as opposed to just a riding of a wave of momentum straight through.
So they're talking to the CBC head coach, Scott Pingle, over there, and I have to think that every overtime you have to flip the coin again, don't you? I thought so.
Or is it alternating? Or is this the exact conversation they're having over there?
That's right. It could be alternating. You might be right. Whoever wins the toss gets to make the decision, and then it's alternating after that. So let's see.
And we'll know if they call the captains out. And now Coach Veneta. Veneta is going to go over there.
Talk to Coach Veneta and what to do here. A rare moment of quiet here in this second half as we get ready for double overtime. The second overtime period. Looks to me like Hazelwood Central is putting their defense on the field, which means that whoever wins the initial coin flip gets the ball first or gets to make a decision first, and then you flip-flop after that. Or they might go two at a time. So in other words, this overtime is complete, and if it's still tied, then we do another flip to determine overtimes 3 and 4. I don't know.
Well, I don't think either one of these teams wants to bank on this going indefinitely. Neither does the broadcast crew that's got to get over to CBC, but I think
from the 25-yard line, and they get their attempt to score.
So CBC will start as we head to a second overtime.
We're hoping the PA announcer would tell us exactly whether it is a coin flip, whether it's alternating, or whether there's another flip. No such word. We continue.
Here go the Cadets. 1st and 10 at the 25. We are in a second overtime. Gabbert looking. Fires over the side. He's got a man. Touchdown. Antoine Higgins out of the backfield on the drag route. Unbelievable. First play of second overtime. The Cadets score.
Do you get a bonus for scoring on the first play? Is it like an 8-point touchdown or something?
I wish. Beautiful play call, and Antoine Higgins beat the linebacker out of the backfield. What a fantastic play, and the Cadets now need to tack on this extra point.
Gormley the snapper, Charlton the holder, and Etzel the kicker.
Otto Etzel, the left-footed kicker. Had one blocked earlier. The Cadets need to do a good job of blocking up front. Snap back, ball down. The kick is up, and it is good.
Just inside that left upright.
CBC leads 47-20 in double overtime. It'll be Hazelwood Central's turn now.
And we do want to remind you again, this is a game you don't want to stop enjoying no matter who you are. We will not be able to bring you a lengthy post game. We do have to pile in a van and head back to CBC to get ready to do soccer. So if you're watching us, we apologize for the abruptness with which we'll have to end this. But that is the requirement. We're doing it so that we can bring you more Cadet Playoff athletics here on CSN.
And don't forget, while Tom Eichwald is rushing back to bring you the play-by-play at CBC High School, grab a snack, grab a soda or your favorite beverage, or head to Chick-fil-A. Go through the drive-thru.
There you go.
Come back home and tune in to soccer at 6
I may not have time for Chick-fil-A. I might be lucky if I can get a nice hot tea with honey, because we broadcasters have a difficult life.
We do. We have throat issues. Here we go. 1st and 10 at the 25. Triplett fakes the throw. He's going to keep it himself, looking for room up the middle. He's brought down by that CBC defense, piled up. Luke Carey helps finish it off. Gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. The Cadets have not had an answer for Triplett's running here in the fourth quarter and overtime. He's done a fantastic job.
Well, imperative that you stop it for CBC. You don't want them with the confidence to run the ball. You want Triplett to have to throw the ball. If they're going to score here, you want it to be in the air. It brings the interception into play. His throwing accuracy is not everything it maybe could be. So if you're CBC, you absolutely have to shore up the middle, make them put the ball in the air.
Watch the trick play. 2nd down and 6. That's Bell. Gets maybe 2.
Boy, cadets coming in from everywhere. You can see how much this game means to Percy Brown. Came flying over about 3 different guys to get in on that tackle.
3rd and a long 4. Hazelwood Central trailing 47-40. We're in double overtime. Should they score and tie the game here, we will go to a 3rd overtime where both offenses will get a crack.
3rd and 4.
Keeps it himself. He's got room, and he is driven back
Boy,
to the 18-yard line. It's 4th down and 2.
That ball was dangerously loose there for a second. Triplett had the ball way out away from his body for just a second, was able to re-secure it. Almost lost it there.
They mark it at the 18, 4th down and 3.
CBC sideline going absolutely nuts. Well, half of them are going nuts. The other of them are just standing there frozen, it looks like.
This is the ball game. Can Hazelwood Central keep it alive, or do the Cadets close it here? 4th and 3 at the 18.
Ball's in the air.
Triplett looking. He rolls right, looking for room. Has an eye on the 1st down marker. He's not going to get there. I don't think he got there.
Cadets win.
The Cadets win. The Cadets move on. CBC will play Blue Springs next week. The defense comes up big. Triplett couldn't get to the marker. What a play. CBC 47, Hazelwood Central 40.
And as we mentioned, we've got to get going. I'm going to run screaming down the precarious ladder from the top of this press box. Obviously, that's a good idea. But this has been one of the most fun games I have ever gotten the privilege to watch, let alone bring you. And what a game this has been.
The final score, CBC 47, Hazelwood Central 40. We'd love to wrap it up for you, but you saw it. 6 o'clock, CBC takes on St. Louis U High. Keep the internet open. Keep your smart TV open, because CBC Soccer coming up at 6 with Tom Ockwell. Thanks, Tom. And next week, the Cadets will be taking on Blue Springs. Until then, so long, everybody.